Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best grand E. Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Mystery E Crimecast. I am Mr. E, and I'm joined by Mrs. E, of course, and our guest, Auntie. How are you doing, Auntie?
Pretty good. How are you guys tonight?
Good. Good. We're trying something a little different with our lighting.
It looks good.
We got the advice that we had too much light on in this room, so we turned all the overhead stuff off, and so hopefully we look a little less washed out and pale. I think is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better because we've got plenty of the other lights to make it go. What have you been up to today?
Oh, Costco and the grocery store and all that kind of fun stuff.
Shopping kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
Got a ton of folks already in here. 162 of you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'd never take that for granted. I know there's a ton of places you all could be, and we appreciate when everyone is here. And I'm sure that number will grow. Once we get kind of going here, more folks will hop on, and we see all the orange hearts. I see it every time I go into anyone's chat. I'm watching. I've been kind of hopping around, listening to lots of folks lately, and we see the orange hearts. We always appreciate it. We are almost at the end of this round of treatment. Actually, he's got 2 more of these to go, and that's been daily for over 33 days. 33 total days, and he just did day 31 today. So it will be a relief to have that part of it behind us. So it's been tough, but we're getting there, and 2 days feels a lot more manageable when you're like, oh, there's 32 to go, 31 to go, 30 to go. You kind of start counting down, and now it's in our sights. So and then he'll have a little break while we decide the next move. But anyway, we do appreciate all the support there. And before I forget, I do want to make sure I mention K-Mac. If you follow her on Twitter, she's having some health issues. I believe she's been in a great deal of pain for the last week or so, getting lots of tests. I read one where she said I think she may have a collapsed lung. And so I know she's really suffering. So if K-Mac, of course, is one of our mods, and she's been with us since the very beginning of our channel. And we met her last year. She's just an absolute wonderful person, and is very passionate about Sebastian in particular. And she's one of the people for us. It's very hopeful that we're gonna find him and bring him home. And anyway, if we could pray for K-Mac, I would appreciate that.
And also Nana's in here, Nana's Dragonfly. So we want to pray for her husband as well.
And could someone drop our email? Someone said they had something for us if that they had made us, and they wanted to drop, I guess, email.
I'll do it.
Our PO box. I don't know if they said email or PO box. Hang on.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I don't know if K-Mac is here tonight. I didn't see her in.
Yeah,
she may not be feeling up to it, and that's
completely fine.
Understand. I think at one point she said her pain level was a 10 out of 10. If I'm a 5 out of 10, I'm not coming to the live stream probably. So
it's crafting and true crime.
I don't blame her. So we hope she heals and they get all the answers for her that she needs.
Yeah, I was kind of following her post on X, and she sounded terrible.
Yeah, she's really
in a lot of pain.
Yeah. So
and Real Me Too is wanting my phone number. Will you just send my phone number? I heard.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, I'll take care of it.
And Aperture Girl, I just wanted to say goodbye before you had to leave us. I think earlier I saw you say it was 2 a.m. where you are.
So sweet.
And so we appreciate it. We were talking about this today. We always try to make our live streams where hopefully they are watchable on the replay, that it doesn't feel like you have to be here live necessarily. So we try to do something where even on a replay, you should hopefully get something out of it, We've been gone a little while, a little over a week for us. So it is good to be back and good to see everybody.
Well, it's been spring break. We've been busy with the kids. So.
Yeah. And Random to the Dime, good to see you in here. It was good to meet you the other day. I don't think you've been back since we met.
No, she had been.
I've been back in our chat. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, it's good to see you. And it was good to meet you and your kids at the vigil and everything too. And Grandma Chachi, Nina Drew, Detective Mom, Lisa Lamonda, Real Me Too, BMW Coupe, Nana's Dragonfly, Mr. and Mrs. E. My husband had a second treatment today and resting. Thank you for the prayers. We have 6 months to go. I'm very positive. Yeah. I mean, there's, these things are huge challenges, but they are, if you've got a good plan, anything can be accomplished. There's a lot that can be done.
Aw.
Oh, well, thank you. I bet
Well-
your girl just became a new member.
Well,
too.
I think renewed. I think
Or
that's what
renewed.
happened. It doesn't show up differently for some reason. I'm not sure.
Well,
But
thank you. We
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Welcome back. I actually came up with I was telling Auntie about this right before we went on air. In addition to doing the trivia, because we can't quite get it together on the trivia. In addition to the trivia, we are going to start doing a thing called the Dog Pound for members only. And I think what it is going to be a members only live stream where you guys can come up and we can talk theories or talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, and we're going to do that monthly in addition to the trivia. So
Yeah, I think that'll be great. Where we can kind of
we'll do a link and people can come up and talk and ask questions directly. Cause sometimes it's hard to do, when you're typing this stuff in.
yeah, we can kind of give, because I think I think everyone sort of has thoughts and theories and opinions on things or
Mhm.
things they've noticed.
Right.
And it's hard to it's hard in this format to all, because it gets busy in the chat and it's hard for us to catch everything and highlight everything, but there's lots of great things we might like to share, and that way we could kind of have a little time to
Just kind of hang
focus
out.
more on you guys and your thoughts, because the chat kind of makes it a lot of times on the
Absolutely.
live.
Absolutely.
You guys often catch things that we've missed or have great insight into various interviews that have happened or possibilities and theories. But
Did you want to say hi to some people? We're
It's
not
up
going to
to
go
you.
through all of them because I think we went a whole hour. of
Last time.
Yeah, we did. We went too long on that last time, and we do want to kind of get into it and not make people have to wait. We were almost at an hour saying hello to people and kind of talking and all of that. So
I think last time though, it had been a while since we were on, so I think that's what it was. As we were jumping back in, and it'd been a little bit, and we were just wanting to say hello.
Yeah, and you want to, yeah. So, and you want to appreciate everyone, but you also want to, for the people here, you want to get the show going to not make folks wait too long. Also, so Rhonda, thank you so much for becoming a member. We definitely appreciate the support. And several of you already are. I see all the green all over.
I know
place.
the green's pretty.
But so tonight, we went with Web of Lies tonight. You can almost do that on any episode that you talk about this case. If there is a common theme to the whole Sebastian Rogers disappearance saga, it is probably deception and lies, right? It infiltrates every part of every bit of this. But this is one of those where we kind of have a lot of different areas we want to go tonight. But kind of lies and deception are sort of a overarching theme to all of it. So we're going to be talking about some insights that I've seen from various creators that I want to highlight. A few things going on with At Night and Hong, this case out in Memphis, interfering in an investigation and what that means, things of that nature. So we kind of have a lot of different topics that I want to get to.
And I do think we need to do our Dog Pound song for our new member. And I also want to point out she's got great taste. So thank you, Rhonda.
Well,
that's very
Rhonda.
Sweet.
It might be the lighting.
It might be
Everyone
the lighting.
told us we had too much lighting here.
It's better. It is much better.
Yeah, because we have like the dining room lamp like right here.
Chandelier.
Or chandelier. It's got like I don't know, 10 bulbs or something.
Yeah.
And so it probably was washing us all out. With coupled with the
mine's out. Like, here's mine when I'm out. I mean, it's like dark, so I can't go completely out.
And Mama Rissa wants to let you know that you look beautiful too and loves your lip color.
Thanks.
She has the benefit of sunshine. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we have sun. I try to get out just a few minutes every day and just sit out in the bright sun.
It's so good for you, actually. People don't realize how good it is for you. And look at this. Happy holidays. Gifted 5 memberships.
I thought you were saying happy holidays. I was like, what holiday is it?
Very, very sweet. We do appreciate that very much.
If you received a gifted membership from Happy Holidays, please tell Happy Holidays. Thank you. That was very kind of you, and we really appreciate it.
That's wonderful.
And I'm going to get to do a couple of songs now. I'm really excited. All right. Let's go ahead and do.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do the membership. Okay. Let's see. I don't remember. It's like every time we do this, I forget what I'm doing. Let's see. Where is it?
Yes, everyone does need a little vitamin D. I think it's great. That sun feels good. It's starting to get a little consistently warmer every day, so it's been nice.
Okay, keep talking for a second. I
Vitamin
can't
D is
find
like
what
the
I'm
key
looking
to
for.
everything, right?
It is. It is. Vitamin D deficiencies can wreak havoc in the body. So getting that real vitamin D from the sun is better than the supplements. And
Oh, sure.
little known fact, your eye is the one organ that absorbs it the most when you are outside. So take off your sunglasses and sit out in the sun for a little bit. And if you have to, just wear a big wide brim hat if the sun in your eyes bothers you. But it's great for you
Well,
to get it in there.
yeah, that's where you take in most of your vitamin D. So, all right, you ready?
Sure.
We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you, what a gift. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. So generous. So kind. So wonderful. You make our hearts shine. Thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best.
Thank you again. Happy holidays. We appreciate you. And this is for our new members. Let's see.
Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog town. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo 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 doo.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I
He
didn't
tries
know.
to do stuff when I'm doing other things.
I didn't know it would do that.
Deanna, I think Deanna renewed her membership too. Thank you for renewing your membership. We appreciate you. Thanks for doing it during the song too.
Yes, thank you so much, Deanna. We appreciate it. Sorry,
That
I'm
was great
still
timing.
so you could hear that when I clicked on that news.
I heard it. Did you hear it, Auntie?
No.
The music continued playing fine.
Yes.
You didn't hear
Oh, okay.
like Memphis police report?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Did you? I bet
I
they-
didn't hear anything. You mean during the song?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear anything. I was just
Okay,
singing
good.
along. Didn't hear a thing.
That's so cute. I love when people say that. AMC 52 says, just joining in. Top of the evening to everyone. Left my DNA so I don't go missing. That's so cute.
Yes.
And if
Oh,
you guys
look at
wouldn't
that.
mind,
That worked.
I know I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I'm
And if
getting
you
there.
guys don't mind to leave your DNA on that like button, we would really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I
Yes,
saw
and if
somebody
we
before we got on say that they wanted to get to 1,000 before we got on so we could have an early machete party.
That'd be-
But I thought that was hilarious.
that was Graham. That was our Graham.
Yes. So we so Graham here earlier, Ty Bay Lux, and I think Seth is here too. At least he said hello at the beginning.
Yes.
I don't know if he's still hanging around or not, but thank you so much for being here too.
Tabe
And
Lux said they did not hear it on their end either.
Well,
okay, good. So
Because
if that happens again, that's no big deal then.
you guys didn't get to see the look I gave him off camera.
Well, yeah, if I'm going to figure it out, I'll have to make some mistakes here and there, though.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So some of you may have, before we kind of get into our main stuff, there was this kind of breaking news the last couple of days. You might have heard about it. And if you haven't kind of caught up on this, there was a body found out in the Memphis area, about 30 minutes from St. Jude. So one part of the description was that there's actually two individuals, but one of them had black pants and a gray hoodie and black sneakers. So of course the black pants part caught all of our attention, wondering if possibly that could be Sebastian. And so that was a couple of days ago. It turns out it's not. But this was I want to play the news segment here about this. It is pretty interesting.
Police are investigating after a body was found near an MLG&W power substation. The body was found actually just before noon near the corner of Shelby Drive and Mendenhall.
That's where we find Fox 13's Jack Build you right now. Jack, you found out this was found by a utility crew.
Yeah, Daryl, a utility worker told me he was walking along this wooded area getting ready to install a line of cable when he saw what he thought was a pile of clothes. He says he got closer and saw a hand sticking out of a jacket.
As I got closer, I seen fingers, and that's when I made the call first.
Fox 13 was on the scene as investigators canvassed a small wooded area along Shelby Drive, just feet from a power substation. Squad cars surrounded the site. Plainclothes officers climbed in and out of a ditch where the body was found and eventually carried it out in a white tarp and loaded it into a van.
It was disturbing. I almost threw up a couple of times.
That utility worker asked not to be named. He took videos of the body in hopes of helping identify the person. Fox 13 viewed those videos, but they are not suitable for television. They show a decayed body in a gray hoodie, black pants, and black sneakers.
Some people have said that it might be their relative based off the clothing.
A cell phone and duffel bag were found next to the body, and the body was missing its head. The utility worker is hopeful the remains will be identified soon and help bring closure to the person's family. He says this grisly discovery will stick with him for a while.
It's crazy that, that somebody passed, that's one thing, but to find a body without a head, that's even crazier.
The Memphis police have not yet publicly identified that body. They also haven't said how it ended up here or how long it was here. We'll, of course, let you know as soon as that changes.
Fox 13's Jack.
So that was the news that came out a couple of days ago, and this does not appear, or this is not, Sebastian.
Yeah, I put up on the screen. You don't have to go back to StreamYard so you can see it.
Oh, okay. I was going to play some Bullhorn Betty tonight, actually. BJ Boop says, hi, everyone. Just left BHB. She did a story about a 17-year-old missing there. The clothes described matched the description of the clothes. Yeah, so I was going to actually play that. She did that this morning. And so can we do Bullhorn Betty in the chat? Her link?
Sure. Maybe? You got to let me know that stuff in advance.
All right. So I'm going to okay, I think I need to stop sharing.
I bet the Real Me Too has it handy. Real Me Too, would you mind to do it for me? Would you put Bullhorn Betty, her channel link in chat, please?
All right. So this was Bullhorn Betty from this morning. And she has a pretty solid theory about who that person might be. So I'm just going to play a couple of minutes. She makes some really good points also just about missing children in general. And so I just wanted to play a couple of minutes of this. But if you'd like to see it in full, it was a great live. She also covers prior to this, like in the first half hour, she covers a lady that's gone missing from Wisconsin that was flying into Orlando, was taking a train to Tampa, and just never showed up and disappeared. And so all the details of that are also in this live. Especially if you live in that Orlando, Tampa area, you might want to check that out. The lady works in a doctor's office. She didn't have anyone set up to take care of her pet and stuff like that. So it makes you feel like, makes you feel like there's something wrong there. So anyway, but I'm just going to play a couple of minutes of this, if that's okay.
Brought me to the flyer. I just lost my audio, so we'll have to reset everything if I got to show a video. And here, he disappeared again, January 22nd, 2025. This is a missing child report. And this is all the details that we have on this child. And I'm going to show you guys my receipts that this child had no news. Nothing. I mean, nothing on him. Nothing. It's angering. It's just frustrating. How irresponsible of the local community. How irresponsible. 17 years old. 17 years old. Victim left the residence to attend school, but did not return home. The victim was last seen leaving school early in the 3000 block of Covington Pike. If the victim is located, contact police. It seems like they did absolutely nothing to try to find this. They just wanted to throw a missing person flyer out and say, hey, community, do our job for us. If you see him, give us a call. Just, I can't. I'm not going to. Today's Thursday. We're about to get on a weekend. But I tell you, my blood is boiling. Okay? Whether or not this child deserves advocacy. This child deserves the whole world knowing he is missing. He is 17 years old. And let me show you what makes me sick. This is what makes me sick. Right here. This is what we have on him. We have these three. Saving lost kids. Localmemphis.com, which is the missing in the mid-South. And they have a whole list. He wasn't exposed, like an expose on him or anything. He was bundled with a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah, so that's Bullhorn Betty, and as far as I know, she's the first person I know of that put this together. That this is likely this child, and I think she's probably right there. That is, and then she also, I let it go a little bit because the frustration she was having. I share in some of that. I was searching for this story and I couldn't even find it hardly. I was having to type in a variety of different ways to search it with different keywords and everything, and couldn't even find a modern story on it hardly. It was really difficult to look up. And then when I wanted to get into, I'll give you an example. I started typing in, I typed in missing 17-year-old Memphis. I'm going to show you what came up for me. It's kind of crazy. Let's see if this will work. Yeah. Okay. So I think if you can see this, if you're just listening, I'll kind of read out what's showing here. And it's just the Google search, comes up with, I just typed in 17-year-old missing child Memphis, right? So you would think that it would just pop right up, but there's a 17-year-old Thyral Holt Wade that's been missing since January. 3 days ago, there's a 17-year-old mother missing, named Scarlett. A 17-year-old missing named Gavin Owensby, who's been gone since October of 2024. Another child, Cheyenne Poole, January 19th. Miracle Cooper, since the 1st of September of last year. Another October 13th, named Morgan Harris. And it just, and these are all Memphis. And I don't know the status. Some of these children, maybe they've been found, haven't. And it's still not even the top, 7 searches here still doesn't say anything about this child that's we suspect was the one that the utility worker may have found.
Did they say why they believe it might be this boy?
The clothing matched the description of the gray hoodie, black pants, black sneakers is the same thing.
So being in Tennessee, you all haven't heard anything like a parent outcry, a public outcry for leads or anything from the police? I couldn't
even find what Betty found. Those 3, I couldn't find anything.
Wow.
I was trying to find articles or whatever on my. The only thing I could find was that with any ease was the reports from 2 days ago, just like the news reports, but not on the missing kid. And it's just this kind of same problem we continue to have where these underreported children. We had this happen with. I mentioned it in Betty's chat today when I was there for a little while. It was like the Trinity Bostic story, where you had this girl that had been missing for over a week in our county. Nobody knew about it. Nobody had shared the flyer. and then she turns up, in a similar situation off a highway by a tree line, and then when you go back to look, there were no flyers really being shared. The police department hadn't shared anything. That there was nothing. There was no public outcry or awareness, and that's I don't know what's wrong with our system that way. I know that some of it is that I know, like with the Amber Alerts, I know the reason that they have a high bar for, because you don't want to have an Amber Alert every time come out like 50 times a day, for every situation, because then it just becomes background noise and no one pays any attention to it anymore. But if I'm doing a search for a kid that's been missing for a month, I should be able to find something.
Well, and
Right.
I'll tell you, you can look up his name on Facebook, and you will find it on some missing Facebook pages. But that's sad that you can find it easier on Facebook than you can find it on a worldwide database. I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, some people are saying they found it in other places. And I didn't go through Facebook looking for it, but Facebook comes up on Google too, a lot of times, if just depending on what you're typing in. But then also just the issue of just in Memphis, how many 17-year-olds had gone missing in like a 6-month period. And that's probably not all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but it's just,
It's disturbing.
it is. I mean, kids gone for a month. Even the Sebastian situation, as high profile as that is, meet people all the time that have never heard of him. When we were at the
read Casey's response.
Casey says, I spoke with my bestie in Nashville last night. She was shocked at all the information about Sebastian that I shared with her. She said, we are not hearing much about him here. That's true.
It's sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, how do you keep him in the news? And people move on to other stories, and there's always a new thing. And that's the battle that Seth is going to have, is trying to, as more time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for him to keep Sebastian in the forefront. Right.
Right. I was going to say, truth is, I mean, as much like it or hate it, YouTube has kept his story going. So,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been left to, the local news, we would hear about it once a year,
Exactly. Social media has kept,
and that's
going.
been, driven by a lot of things. Also, the vigils make a huge difference too, because that, that gives almost, I don't know, I don't want to say publicity to it, but that's kind of what it does.
Event. It's a community event. So it does pull resources and people that may not necessarily have heard about it, through the church and other places too. And they used organizations like the autism place and the pet place. So you're pulling in different things.
Yeah. Bliss Blessing says, Saving Lost Kids on Bookface shared him on February 6th. No family or individuals posted about him missing. Truly heartbreaking. And that is.
Someone asked if he lived in a home or at home.
I looked at his flyer earlier, and there's very little information. At all. So, and that stuff actually, I don't even think it says where he went missing from, what area, anything.
I think it said it said he went to school and never came back, left early and never came back. So, I don't know.
Just feels like there's got to be a better way.
I know I met a police officer last year in Tennessee that he wasn't from the Middle Tennessee. He was like East Tennessee. But he didn't know anything about Sebastian Rogers. And usually there's only 1 or 2 active Amber Alerts in the whole state. Sebastian's been an Amber Alert for a year now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not know how does it that every department in the state doesn't know the 1 or 2 Amber Alerts in the state?
Right.
Every week they should be getting hey guys, just a reminder, this is the kid we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Which
take a look for 2 seconds. All right, go on.
The milk carton thing used to be a really big thing, and that was something that was in everyone's home. And there's nothing like that now. I mean, you have internet, but not everybody is going to be looking at the pages or the Facebook or YouTube to see that information. So that to me, the milk carton thing was probably a brilliant way to get in every single home.
It was. I mean, I think you and I remember seeing Adam Walsh on there all the
Yes.
time on our milk cartons.
Mhm.
And then the girl, Ann Gottlieb, remember
Mhm.
her?
From Louisville, yes.
Uh-huh. We would see her all the time.
Yes.
And but milk cartons aren't milk
A thing
cartons
anymore.
anymore. It's plastic now. So was it I guess they could put a label on it. But
I don't know. It was just a way to get in every home, and
exactly.
it's just sad that a child can be missing in a community, and like that lady said, her friend in Nashville hadn't even heard about it.
I was talking to one of the musicians after the vigil, and he didn't know anything about it, but he was like, "Wow!" And I told him a little bit because I went up and just, "Hey, you guys were great, whatever." After, and he said, "I didn't know anything about this Sebastian Rogers, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to look into this story or whatever." It's like, well, I mean, that's good. That's what the vigils are supposed to do: get people to maybe see something and maybe remember something. You don't know. That's the hope. As far as milk cartons go, it made me think the only thing we have close to that right now is Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
They're the only one that kind of does anything that kind of for people that aren't just online, like in your face that you see, which is great.
Yeah, and people get their television so many different ways now. So it's not even like you can do it on local channels, somewhere where it's, there's no Walter Cronkite and everybody turns on the same newscast every night. And, there's everybody's going in 100 different directions. So being able to get that out is so much more of a challenge now.
Yeah. Wonder how successful the milk cartons were.
I
You
don't
ever seen a
know.
study on those?
I don't know. Peggy
wonder
was
if
showing
if they worked.
the first person on the milk carton was Johnny Gosh, newspaper boy who got kidnapped, and he was on the first.
It kind of rings a bell. I kind of
It did to me too. That's why I highlighted it.
Well, and that's a great idea. Real Me Too said they should put it on water bottles now. I mean,
that's a
everybody
great
drinks
idea.
water bottles. I mean, what about organizations like Starbucks and places that people frequent, putting it on their cups, on the band that goes around the cup to keep your hands from burning. I mean, there's just so many ways and so many organizations that could help get that information out. And it would be a great thing.
You'd think they could partner with somebody, like
missing and exploited
yes,
children.
I couldn't.
I knew what you're thinking. Yeah.
Well, this is what it comes down to. Picky says his mother was the best advocate for her son. She drove all the police officers and everybody crazy looking for her son, and that is what it has to be. It comes down to the parent. Actually, it does. The parent's going to be the one that determines whether or not their missing child is going to get. I mean, there's other factors too. Sebastian was kind of like a lot of things. You have a combination of the autism, which I bet more than half our audience is invested in the Sebastian Rogers case because of autism for that purpose. The charming smile and the behavior of the parents, and then the mystery around it, because it is we've been deep diving into this disappearance for a year, and there's still things that we don't understand or know how they happened. Several. There's a lot of possibilities even now.
Wow.
Bliss Blessing says part of my life story is I was a milk carton child in 1981.
Oh my goodness.
It was not successful for me, but there's endless possibilities. I don't say for sympathy because it's made me who I am today. Blessed.
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing. I saw you somewhere. I can't remember whose show I was listening to, but I saw that you'd had a difficult childhood. But I didn't know that part. Wow. That's amazing. But, so glad that,
we're so happy you're here.
However you were rescued, that you were here. It's amazing.
Should write a book.
Yeah, and sometimes people are drawn to stories like this because of their own life experience. They've had a child missing at some point, or there's just, we all have kind of different reasons. And it's just timing too. Some people think that part of the reason Sebastian's story got so much attention was Riley Strain, that happened a little over a week after Sebastian disappeared, and all those folks were here, all those searchers were here, and that was Nashville. This is a smaller town, but it's really close, and that was because at the time, if you weren't living here, you may not remember this, but at the time when Riley disappeared, it was kind of like a what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, man, we just had this kid disappear, and now this guy in downtown Nashville disappears, and nobody knew he was in the river at that point. People thought he might have been.
I'll tell you though, overnight there were billboards all over the place for Riley Strain. I mean, overnight it was crazy
everywhere. Those parents came in and they lit up the whole downtown area with flipboards. You could not go anywhere without seeing his face. And that also gave a stark contrast to the 2 weeks prior,
right,
with the Proudfoots, because you had the Strain parents come in and they were on the news within like 3 days, every day, leading searches. Mom was a warrior out there fighting for her kid, and so you had a contrast, and it was if you were living in Middle Tennessee,
you saw it very clearly,
and you were following both stories at all. It was a stark contrast.
Real Me Too gave us the first milk carton kid.
Oh, Ethan Patz was first child on a milk carton in 1985. Well, Bliss Blessing says she was on one in 1981.
I think they were before 1985. Maybe they were regional or something before that.
Yeah, I think I remember them more like around 81 or so, because I remember seeing them when I was really little.
Welcome in, Brett, Bed Crime Stories. It's nice to see you.
He disappeared. Ethan Patz disappeared in 1979, and he says that they said the Patz image was used on milk cartons in the early 80s as a way to encourage public salute. In 1983,
I was going to say, don't you? I mean,
yeah, I remember them when I was in high school on the cartons.
Right.
I graduated in 85. Not telling how old I am, but I was only 12 when I graduated. No, I was only 12 when I graduated. So,
Bed Crime Stories says and welcome in, Bed Crime Stories. The family has to be proactive or people won't be looking. But if we all know the story and the face, think of how powerful that can be. All missing people deserve attention from us. Yeah, they do, and it's so hard to pick. It's so hard to pick and choose which ones you want to try to highlight and give attention to, and and so this young man, if this ends up being him, which this seems very likely, I guess. What happened to him is horrific. Also, just forget the, and but I'm going to get that in a moment. Castle says, "Ease. I'm sick of people that are on Sebastian's side that still say Seth and Dog and team are not searching for Sebastian. Can you please educate the ignorant? Searching is not just boots on the ground."
Absolutely.
Well, there is searching happening, boots on the ground too. We just know that it has. They just really don't want to publicize the searches anymore.
Can't blame them.
Just for sabotage, and sometimes they're searching in place. You also don't want to tip people off,
right?
Tip people off because they like they are running parallel investigations. They are running the if he's alive and if he's not. So sometimes they're searching for remains. Sometimes they're searching for him alive. It just depends on the tip and the theory that they're running with.
And but not all searching is in the woods too. So
yeah, sometimes it's a tip they've gotten, but they certainly are. And then part of it is just media.
I was going to say I can name I think 3 states that Seth has been to.
Yeah,
searching for him. At least 3. That's off the top of my head.
And we're not all that into the loop. We just kind of hear about it once in a while. We'll just hear about it.
Sounds like I'm in good company. SS Butterfly Kisses also graduated in 1985. So,
and media can find a kid or solve a crime. Because we live in Nashville, I always think of the famous stories around here. But one of the famous murders in Nashville was Skull Schulman, who was on Hee Haw. He owned a bunch of businesses in downtown Nashville, and it was a well publicized, especially locally, crime, and it was unsolved, and it ended up being on America's Most Wanted with John Walsh at one point, and then that actually broke the case.
Ooh.
Because a bartender had seen that episode, and she remembered the night of the murder seeing a guy walking with a limp, and that she knew as a homeless man walking with a limp, and he cut his long hair short that particular day. So she's like, well, that is kind of strange that he was walking with a limp, and I decided to change his hair so drastically. He sent the tip in, and then it ended up being that guy. So you
really don't know where
you don't know.
Yeah.
So you who knows if they get on a court TV one day, or another Nancy Grace or Dr. Oz or whoever, that one person that might have seen something strange goes, oh, you know what? I saw somebody on the side of the road doing this with a particular type of car. What, anything like that could happen. Happens all the time. And the other one, more recent, that I think about a lot is that young man that was in Michigan that had schizophrenia that had disappeared for months.
Oh, right.
And then YouTubers, he was on at a dance party or something at the beach in Florida or something like that.
Was it YouTubers or TikTokers? I don't remember.
I think he was on a YouTube channel, and somebody saw him dancing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, well, he'd been gone for 4 months. So, things can get solved all kinds of crazy ways, but you just got to keep putting the image out there, keep trying to find creative new ways to reach different media and storytellers, whatever you got to do. One I was thinking about today was, I wonder if, I know that Tony and Seth have done a lot of YouTube and TikTok. I wonder if they've reached out to more like the true crime podcasters that just do the audio, like my favorites are like Crime Junkies or First Degree. They might would do the story.
Yeah.
Crime Junkies just interviewed what's the dad with the John Benet Ramsey?
John Ramsey?
John Ramsey. Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
John Ramsey. They just did an interview with him.
I saw that.
And they've got a massive audience, of course. But maybe,
They're
just find new people.
They're the number 2 podcast in the country after Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have a huge audience.
And First Degree has a pretty big audience too, and they like to do like the interview with someone involved in whatever crime they're describing, and it'd just be new types of people, because there are folks that don't use TikTok or YouTube but will listen to podcasts.
Absolutely, because that's how we started. We started listening to Crime Junkies a long time ago.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I love.
It's really good. If you haven't listened to it, it's really good. I want to have my voice be like
Flowers.
Yes,
Ashley Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody
Hi,
wants.
Crime Junkies. I can't even do it.
Yeah, she's very good. She's very talented. But
But it didn't used to sound like that. Her old podcasts are different, so she did something with her voice to make it more enhanced. And I'm not that technical.
Oh, I'm sure she's got like a $20,000 microphone and the whole deal.
I'm not that fancy.
Yeah. She did actually. She's a girl. Mom says she's coming to Nashville soon. Actually, she was
here last week, last Sunday, and we were unable to do it.
Yeah, we probably would have.
We would have. We just had to.
But she was
something we couldn't get out of.
Yeah, she was at the Grand Ole Opry, and I met a couple of folks that were going, and I was a little bit jealous.
And hi there, girl mom. She's so pretty.
Yes, girl mom we met, and she's fantastic, and her mother too we met, and she was great too.
I wanted you to read Bed Crime Stories. You jumped away from it.
Oh, I thought I did read.
No, there was a second one.
Okay. I might have thought it was the same one. Bed Crime Story says, my brother went missing, and the minute we knew, we went into overdrive. We found him on a street corner within 2 days. I just found out a teen went missing from the same corner. She was found in pieces.
That's terrible.
Ugh. How scary.
And then Orange Wedge had a great idea. This is a great idea.
Yeah, that's a good one. Orange Wedge says NFL should do something like that because they have a huge audience.
And it's a different audience.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
there's so many ways that you could put that out there as a like a charity type of thing. Facebook ads, Facebook. I mean, what's it going to cost Meta to run that on Facebook? Run missing children NFL, you're getting ready for March Madness with college basketball, running spots, things like that, that they could do it as
That's a good idea.
as a
Mhm.
service to the community and to, the United States, to missing kids. And I'm sure they could write off that airtime, write off that as a tax deduction for their company or, their organization, because they're doing something charitable.
But
Yeah,
see,
NFL
that
kind of
means that we're still going to have taxes. And in
No.
my utopia, we're not.
No, hopefully that's going to go away soon, but we'll see.
yeah. I mean, they always want a cause to take on these different
Right.
sports, and
What better cause is there than missing children?
highlight a child or two a week or whatever,
I wanted to
And
show
there's
you
still
something funny.
300,000 missing from last year. In the last few years, there's 300,000 missing foreign children that were brought into the country illegally that are
Yeah.
still missing, and they're still trying to recover those kids. Not to mention the ones that go missing in our country every day. They're just regular citizens as well.
I wanted to show you something funny. There's some irony. They were talking when you were talking about Skull Shulman.
Yeah.
Show Poodle says, I
Show
remember.
poodles.
Skull Shulman was it 2 poodles?
At times he had 3. Yeah. He was a huge dog lover. Every picture you ever see with him, he's always got 2 or 3 poodles with him.
He was on Hee Haw.
Yeah. Yeah, he was on Hee Haw, and they reopened the club. It's really it's beautiful. If you're ever in Nashville, downtown Printers Alley, it was closed for years, and now it's kind of like a 1920s speakeasy.
Oh, and Don B's here. Hi, Don. Welcome in.
Yeah, Dane Paulson was recently found. Riley was eventually found not too long after going missing. Just sitting here thinking about that fact. Yeah, we did talk about. I think we talked about Dane. We at least put him on our community. I don't remember if we were mentioning him.
I don't think we
not.
reported after he was found, because that was just in the last couple days.
Yeah, and yeah, so it looks, and they're thinking it looks like no foul play with Dane also. So it looks like kind of what everybody was thinking, that 2-year-old just went down to the river. Nightmare for the parents, of course. They'll never forgive themselves.
Oh, that's another big abduction. Blessings mentioned was Kristen. Was it Elizabeth Smart? She said Kristen Smart, but it was Elizabeth Smart.
Right.
Your own backyard podcast broke the case wide open for Kristen Smart, who went missing in 1996, and it was, I think that's what she's talking about. Elizabeth Smart, that guy took her out of her bed that night, and the sister saw him, and then
Okay.
the one that was, I think they were Mormon. They lived in Utah. Remember that one?
I remember the story. I didn't realize that was solved by a podcast. I didn't know that. Serenity, this says they could advertise on Monday or Thursday night games. Sure.
And thank you, Serenity, for being a member for 1 month.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Okay, so Bliss Blessings is saying no. She's talking about Kristen Smart.
Okay, there must be another one. Gosh, Smart's not a great last name for abductions, obviously. I don't know that one. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Kristen Smart, but I was thinking about Elizabeth Smart.
Flamingo Lisa says Elizabeth Smart has an amazing foundation for missing kids now. Maybe we should look into that.
And she does travel and speak, so it might be someone who could even get to speak. Remember Elizabeth Smart, blonde hair, came from a very good family. They were Mormons, and she was taken out of her bed.
Is this okay? Yeah.
She was
I remember her now.
from her room.
I'll tell you though, I've been watching, trying to learn more. I'm trying to branch out on my cases. And so I've been watching, I watched the Ruby Frankie thing on Hulu, and I watched, cause I was feeling bad a few days ago. And so I laid down and watched that. And then what's the other one? Lori Daybell.
Okay. Oh gosh, I followed that one.
Well, you're like, they're good people. They're Mormons. Well, these people were Mormons too. So
no, they were not.
Both were. Mm-hmm.
They became like this cult. They became a cult. The Daybells were a cult. They were not Mormon. They may have started as Mormon, but they did not end as Mormon. They became like very odd cult.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I haven't looked at her as much, but that's what I read initially. So maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
And if they were Mormon, they were started out as Mormon. But
the Rubies were. Yeah. Okay. Tam here said they branched off from LDS Church.
Yes.
So,
and that's when they went to Hawaii. I mean, they went to Hawaii, and I mean, it was real like cultish type of church that they were involved in.
Oh, yeah. I am too bare. So the reason Elizabeth Smart is why her daughter's bed is never near a window.
That was an absolutely crazy story, but she does speak all over the world and nation and about the abduction and what she went through. And I mean, she has started an organization, and she's an amazing woman.
Yeah. I think Mr. E wants to move on since Mark Twain's on the screen.
Oh, it's okay. I was just getting it ready while you were talking.
Okay.
And, and Real Me Too just said also, she said Elizabeth Smart met Brandy Vaughn, mom of missing monkey Michael Vaughn, recently. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'll tell you, you want to see a picture of a mom trying to find her son.
Yeah.
It's Brandy Vaughn.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Well, so I wanted to do this tonight, just to quote, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. So one of the things I've thought about a few times is with the way certain people, the way they lie. It's kind of unusual almost. Like when we did the...
Hold on one second. Don wants us to stay safe. We didn't even know there was bad weather coming. That's really
Thanks
fun.
for the heads up. I did not know we had anything coming.
I'll check it out right now.
Right this minute,
It made it feel like that Don's telling us a tornado's running our way or something.
I'm looking right now.
Shirley, what did I miss? Was someone rude? Did I miss something?
Don, I don't see anything until Saturday.
It says partly cloudy there right now. But I do see Saturday and Sunday some pretty severe weather. This weekend, he said.
Oh, okay. It felt very urgent.
Like we got to wrap it up.
Like we need to wrap it up and batten down the hatches.
Yeah, I didn't see.
That's funny. Okay. I wouldn't.
I did read the Kristen Smart short version on Wikipedia. I did not realize. I guess I just didn't hear about this. She disappeared in May of 1996, and when she was at California Polytech State University.
Okay.
So, and that's a different Smart.
Did you tell Auntie we did a poll, and that looks like we're gonna start covering something new?
So I was asking just on X the other day, if we can pick another trial to do, because we did the Megan Boswell, and we just really enjoyed doing a trial.
I did. I really enjoyed that too.
We met a lot of really nice people too.
Yeah, and so it was great, and so we're thinking if we can find the right trial to cover, which one would everybody be interested in, and the number one that people were talking about was doing the Koberger, the Idaho 4 case.
There's a lot there.
That's definitely what folks on X were doing. So we might do a poll here later.
Tam says do Vallow, please.
Well, that was probably number 2. Lori Vallow was probably number 2. And
he's crazy.
You know me, if you've been around here, the whole idea, the brainwashing, like cult kind of how people can get, it's like the Ruby Frankie thing. How can that mind twisting persuasion where for otherwise seemingly normal people, things like that, how people can get caught up in that kind of stuff is fascinating to me.
It is fascinating.
Yes, Real Me Too is saying that will be a very long trial, because she's representing herself, right? That's the thinking, that it'll be long just because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, and it might just be timing with what's going on with life and everything, but we'll probably do a couple. But Lori Vallow is certainly, it's interesting. I think the Idaho 4 was what our folks so far were picking, but that's later, like September or so. So we might find something in the summer to do too. Because the whole process of the court hearings and what a defense does in the prosecution and just the strategy behind it and what you learn. I mean, we learned so much from doing Megan Boswell, that we just want to do that again.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And speaking of Megan Boswell, that's what I was about to say with this. So if you watched that story with her, she was 18 years old, when she took her daughter's life, and it was her cover up that really ended up being the most damning evidence against her, because she was she was an absolute ridiculous, over the top liar. She told all kinds of crazy contradictory stories, blamed everybody, would change from day to day what her story was, and it was all on video and all in the interrogation rooms or the news or whatever. And so that kind of liar, it was to me, it was she was 18, so she was young, but it was such a childlike way of lying. And what it got me thinking about was, when you're young, and you lie, like if you're in trouble or something, and no, I didn't do, you when you're young, you might tell wild lies, like to get out of trouble, like but you learn as you get older that those kind of lies, you can't even keep them straight in your head, because they're not real. It's a fiction. So if you get called out on it later, you can't even remember what you said or whatever. You get caught in those kind of outrageous lies like Megan Boswell would do. You learn as you get older to, if you do find yourself having to be deceptive in any way, to keep it as close to the truth as possible, and maybe just leave out details, or you do it, lies by omission. You lead someone to believe something. If it's not always evil. I mean, sometimes you're just trying to, you don't want somebody to know they've got a surprise birthday party coming up or whatever. You've got your reasons for, maybe you don't want to insult someone's feelings if they ask you, hey, how do I look, or whatever, I don't know, so all lies are not equal in a way, but you learn to kind of keep things, if you keep things as close to the truth as possible, you don't have to have a good memory. Judge Judy has a similar expression. She says that way too, right?
I added a Judge Judy emoji for you, just so you know.
You did? The one I was looking for?
No, I did an emoji for our members, but
okay.
You didn't you send me that? I think
so,
you did.
Yeah. I wanted to use
I
it
need to
at some
download it. I'll get it while
Girl-
you're talking.
So
Girl Mom says that she highly recommends the Holly Bobo case. And I know that's one that you've kind of followed as well.
That was real time.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
She thought that would be a good one. And she said she thinks that it will be similar to the Sebastian case in the fact that there might be a star witness that tells the story of what happened. And I think that's a good point.
Possibly.
Are you skipping Emily?
Yes.
Oh man, I love that.
No, I am. I'll tell you later.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
And a couple of people are saying they think the Vallow and the Lori Vallow Daybell would be good, just because we focused on Sebastian and crime, and it did involve crimes against children. They like that one as well. Lots of good ones coming up.
Yeah, there's like a dozen really huge trials coming up over the next half year or so, and so so we'll see. So I wanted to pull this up thinking that way, as far as how people lie. So this is Melissa Proudfoot Svensson, and she posted this on February 27th. So this would be the day after the search started for Sebastian last year. Hey everyone, this is my nephew. He is high functioning verbal autistic. He walked out of the house in the middle of the night with his glasses, a small flashlight, and no shoes. We have been searching since 6:30 a.m. yesterday. They are searching the 10 miles around his house, but I'm worried that he may have got in backseat of a car, fell asleep, and woke up after someone got to their job and got out of the car. It's possible. I'm trying to think outside of the box to help find him. Ugh. It's just so hard. You never know how kids think. Please keep a lookout. Thanks. So there's a lot of stuff about that. This particular post has always kind of nagged at the back of my mind. I don't know.
I've gone back to it several times and read it.
This has always kind of bugged me. There's something about it. The tone of it doesn't feel like. It's never felt authentic or something, if that makes sense. The emotion of it's not real. It feels It's just felt scripted or something. But what it got me thinking about at the time that this came out, it's the day after the search starts. Everyone's still thinking that he's most likely wandered, gotten lost in the woods, something along those lines. But we didn't know about flashlight video yet. We didn't know about that car down at the end of the street turning on its lights. All of that was still unknown. But if you think, this depends on what you believe. Okay, so this is all theoretical. Who knew what, right? I think most of us think that if this is nefarious, that several people know what happened. Because my thinking is if any nefarious thing that happened, Katie has to know if it's an inside job. It couldn't happen with like just Chris knowing.
Right.
Katie has to know what happened, right? If it's like we think, if it is something like our leading theory, essentially, that she's responsible. So I want to ask you all to kind of consider this. Let's say you've been married to someone for 8 years. Many of you have probably been married for some period of time, maybe longer, whatever. You've been with someone for 8 years. Imagine you're the one that's away when something like this happens. You're in Memphis or whatever. You come home to the emergency. Is there any world that you think that spouse, you wouldn't know what happened as soon as you saw their face or talked to them? Do you think they could hide this from you? Do you know what I mean by saying this? There is no way that Mrs. E could hide something like this from me, and I wouldn't know in 5 seconds what happened.
I can,
Or that she was completely involved with what happened.
Right. That
You
there
would
was
know by the look on her face.
Yes. I can look at her face and know exactly what she's thinking most of the time.
What
And
am
she
I
can do the same
thinking
to me. That you don't like that very much, that I can do that, probably.
no,
All right.
it's
No?
that you think you're smarter than you are. I'm
That
just
I
kidding.
think-
I'm totally joking. No, I'm actually really proud of myself because I got your meme for you and I have it whenever you're
Okay.
ready.
Was it the one I sent?
Yes, it's exactly the one you sent. And also your
Okay.
glasses are dirty. So I'm
Well,
going to
I'll-
hand you
I'll-
something to clean your
tell you,
glasses.
I'll find a place to use it. I'll
It's in there when you're ready.
Okay. So anyway, I think
And that pleases him. And I know that.
so. My thinking is, even if, let's say if I'm definitely going theoretically here, right? All alleged. If Katie knows what happened or was involved in whatever way, then Chris knows. I don't even see a way that he doesn't know. He may not have known prior, but he would know by now. If you've been with someone for 8 years, I don't think you could keep that hidden. I think that's also why Katie does not go around Seth and didn't early on, that there was always that buffer between Chris and Katie, that there was always a middle person, that if they were alone, Seth would have known exactly what happened because of the time they spent together too.
Right.
So then I think this, if my child were involved in this, would I know? And I think I would know. So I think of Kathy. I think of Kathy as soon as she sees.
Oh,
talks to
absolutely.
Chris,
You know, I would know.
we can, you can look at your children, as soon as they talk, if they're lying to you or not.
Oh,
And
I know mine like the back of my hand. If they're lying, I can tell it immediately.
Yeah.
And they're adults.
Sure.
And for that matter, being siblings, you can tell if I'm lying and I can tell if you're lying.
Yeah. Right.
So I just don't think that if this happened the way we think it happened, that there's not several people that don't know what occurred, and whether they are just keeping their mouth shut, going along with it, participating, whatever. Maybe they're keeping these thoughts quietly to themselves because it's a horrible thing to, I mean, you could find yourself in a position, if you had a cousin or whatever, that you're like, man, I actually think he's involved in this. You might just keep it to yourself, possibly. But this family has been very tight in the Nina situation.
Mm-hmm.
They have had each other's back. When the going gets tough, they do circle the wagons and protect the family, So I just think that there's several of them that have knowledge to a certain extent, or maybe have even played a role. So it would not surprise me if Melissa's speaking here with some degree of knowledge of what actually happened, if that's true, what this feels like to me is her setting up a what would you call it?
A narrative.
Setting up a narrative, I guess,
Mhm.
in case something were caught. At this time, on the 27th, Melissa probably doesn't know that the flashlight video exists, but she probably has an idea that there's cameras all over the neighborhood. Yeah, it was pitch black. Sometimes cameras work. A lot of times they don't. I mean, we all know sometimes cameras just aren't on. People have them. They forget to, turn them on, or they're just whatever.
So you're adding to the number of people you believe know what happened.
Well, I think that there's a conspiracy of 3 to 5-ish or so people that have truly guilty knowledge. That doesn't mean that there aren't some people that maybe secretly, privately have suspicions, but maybe they're not involved.
Well, and I argued that is it possible that this is the narrative that was placed in her head
And
to spread?
Bliss Blessings, if you have a copy of that, could you send that to us, please?
This is just funny. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to have.
Mr. E.
Lay eyes on it.
Mr. E, my ex, used to call me a witch because I knew that well, and I could tell him exactly where, what, when, who he had been up to, and he said it was freaky.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at that too, actually.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
But we can both do that with each other for sure.
We
do that. We do that
read
on the
me.
show sometimes, where she'll be trying to finish a thought. I know where she wants to go, and you'll say, "Can you help me out?"
Well,
whatever.
Oftentimes I'm distracted. Let's just be real. I'm dealing with chat. I'm, and you'll ask me a question or something, and I really wish we just could record our back porch stuff when I don't feel the pressure of speaking in front of people, because our back porch talks are really good.
We get a lot. If I'm there, we could talk for like 6 hours.
At the beach last year, gosh, we were outside for hours coming up with our who what.
Yes.
Yeah.
I Am Two Bear says they think 7 to 8 people, the ones at the courthouse when Nina got custody, and their mates.
Oh,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And Bliss Blessing said she would send that to us.
What was it?
It was a message that I had not. You guys may have heard about it. She said T. Bowersock's son made a post about CP saying it would not surprise him if CP was involved.
Yeah, I haven't really gone down that path, but I've heard that he's not.
I would love to
with
see
their
it.
family. That if you wouldn't mind to send it, I think she has our email.
Yeah, she said.
And then KT, thank you so much. That's very nice of you.
Thank you for the super chat, KT. We appreciate it. And she says, I have always believed KP handed Sebastian's body off to the in-laws when she left the house that morning. Just my opinion. Oh, so you think maybe at the market or somewhere around there?
Well, I mean, we went down that path ourselves. We went over there and recorded and everything. I think it's possible something could have happened over there.
We had that theory too.
Yeah.
At one time.
I don't think you can eliminate that as a theory. I think that is still a possibility that I mean, really, he left one of two ways. I think that's the most likely. He either left through the backyard with the flashlights or in the car. I don't know how else he gets out of the house.
Yeah, and I've been hearing a lot of people lately playing clips of CP talking about he had to have gone out the front door, but if he went out the front door, he would have been seen on camera. I mean, it's just that simple, So I don't know, just stuff. I could do so many side by sides of that stuff. So
I guess what Mrs. E was saying here is that this may have been a narrative that was provided to Melissa to put out.
Yes.
Either she was told to put it out or was told this version and then she took it as her own.
Right. It was planted.
Yeah. Either way, whether she came up with it on her own or it was given to her, this would be the kind of, because it's kind of a silly theory, actually. Of all the things that could happen, the notion that a high functioning 15-year-old would get up in the middle of the night with no shoes and go sleep in the back of somebody's car and they wouldn't notice till they got to work and all that. It's beyond any. There's just no logic to that. at all. And like you wouldn't notice a 15-year-old in your back seat or whatever. But what it does sound like to me is if the theory's correct about
The car.
the car, they don't know at this point.
What's
they don't
seen.
know what's been picked up on cameras
Mhm.
or seen by a neighbor or not. A car in the neighborhood, if that's how it was
Ooh.
done, they know that that it's very likely somebody saw a door open or the lights come on. That
Something. And Zombie Game says, I noticed the area blurred out on Google Maps between Warsham's and the storage. That's interesting. I mean,
I don't
it's
know.
tiny. The area between Warsham's and the storage is tiny. It's
Yeah.
probably what?
Ooh,
Not very,
big.
I
Yeah.
don't even know.
Just a few,
Probably like
50 feet or something. It's
at
not
the
a lot of-
most,
yeah, it's not
at
a
the
lot of
most
space.
50 feet. It's just like a little pull-in area. And then also, this is a good point by Michelle. I think the next morning, Katie was taking Kathy Bowersox to her car. Interesting. Never thought of that.
Well, and I thought what Kelsey said was good too. She said the theory about him getting into a car and falling asleep feels strangely specific for something unverified. And
Exactly.
then she said, why is that the assumption instead of focusing on confirmed details like security footage, tracks, or any evidence of how he left? It is. It's an odd post.
I just think that it was laying a story in case something like that was seen on camera. That's what I think this is. Do you think anything differently?
Mm-mm. I think it was.
I remember seeing it when it first came out, and I thought it was really odd.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, back then I was just like, oh my goodness, I was buying everything hook, line, and sinker. I wasn't questioning anything at that point. But I did remember kind of going, and just pausing at it. So,
and then and this is kind of different, but it's just so hard. You never know how kids think. Please keep a lookout. Thanks. It's just so hard. It's like, oh shucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like,
yeah, it is. You're right.
About? This kid's
Very
been missing for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like those darn kids.
Those pesky kids.
Like he's been gone for a day at this point.
Oh, Hobo, you didn't have to send us a super chat for that. Of course, you can have our
Oh.
email address. Thank you so much for that, though. That's very sweet of you. And yes, please email us.
Yes.
Can you drop the email again?
I'm doing it right now.
I love your dog picture. So cute.
Yeah, I just want to Hobo's Life. I just want to pass along just stuff that we're doing, and but I wanted to do it privately. So if you, I'll pass along everything we found, because there's so many ways to combat this that are proven effective. That I just, if I find somebody in a situation like we're going in, I just want to make sure you've got the same knowledge we have.
Yes.
To give everybody, to give a
fighting chance,
give you the best chance possible.
Mm-hmm.
So.
This is an odd thing.
Happy to do that.
Tennessee Nurse just put up something that was really odd. She said it's off the subject, but did you guys see the WSMV where the autistic young man was arrested for a DUI but wasn't impaired? Parents on the scene told the officers, but they still arrested him. I hadn't seen that.
I haven't seen that either.
They arrested the child.
No, I hadn't seen that.
A young man.
Well, young man. He obviously was driving. He's arrested for a DUI, but wasn't impaired.
It's a criming shame. Welcome in. She says, well, you're not wrong, Mrs. E. The post is odd, and she was not there at 6:30. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even if you went statement analysis on this, there's some problems. You could do the whole that. And we have been searching since 6:30. Well,
you like their show. You need to tell them hello.
Oh, yeah. It's a criming shame. You're great.
Yes, we love your show.
Well, you're not wrong, Mrs. E. Post is odd, and she was not there at 6:30. She wasn't. And then she even changes it. It's we have been searching since 6:30 a.m. yesterday. They are searching this 10 miles around his house.
Coco honey.
So are they searching or are we searching?
Right.
Coco honey, thank you so much. That is so kind of you.
Look at that picture.
Coco honey gifted 5 Mr. E Crimecast memberships. If you received a membership from Coco honey, please tell Coco honey thank you, because that is super kind and that's not free. We appreciate you so much, Coco Honey. I am going to take a break here in a little while. I don't want to get him off of his role, but what I'll play our membership stuff, like kind of like at the midway point here in a few minutes.
We're almost at the end of this, unless you guys have thoughts on it. I just wanted to. I don't know.
I'm just proud of you for like putting together your show and getting your tabs ready. I don't want to take you. I don't want to throw you off.
I'm almost at the end of this part anyway. I've been thinking a lot about the car in the case. We talked about it last time, and about how the police have to know this car. They have to know whose car it is, and that when we started going down that idea of the Amber Alert, and they didn't put the make and model of the car on the Amber Alert, that kind of told us that it's not a stranger. They know who it is, because they don't need us to find that car for them. So they know where the car was, or they would have put it out.
And I think what Marley said is, how did they know the flashlight information? Was that out that immediately?
We had people that were there the first day, and we were told within the first 3 days about the shoes, the scent not ending, or the scent ending at the driveway, the flashlight, and
shoes, flashlight, dog scent,
and that they didn't want their
names out. Their names out there.
Yeah.
So that was all very early.
That was within the first 3 days.
Tennessee Nurse says, some think Katie authored this post. I think it was Melissa, but I saw where Mike Damon thinks it could be Katie. We're going to talk about Mike Damon a little later, just because there's a few creators and different folks out there that have had thoughts I wanted to share. And I don't think we've ever talked about him, but he's a statement analysis guy. He's at Firetown on X. And I'm going to talk about him a little later with some thoughts he's had.
And also, we have 516 in chat. If you guys wouldn't mind to hit that like button, I would appreciate it. Because if you do, I might be able. I know we are probably not getting to 1,000 tonight. We got spoiled by our thousands. But if we get to probably I'll let Mr. E set a number. If we can get to that number, right?
Sure.
You pick a number, and if we can get to that number in likes, maybe he'll have a little machete party.
We've been hitting it at 700.
Was it 7 or 8?
Last time we did 7.
And all I need is Jesus Coffee and Cooker. I'm giving away your free ones this month.
Haven't. That's a great idea. I will do that right now.
Yeah, and bringing up the statement analysis people, Real Me Too, Peter Hyatt will be so missed. He was a great man.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, I know. And there was the false report at first that he had passed, but actually on March 5th, he passed away. And I had thought about maybe we could just do a live just about Peter Hyatt wisdom and go back through his channel and find some clips and things like that.
He actually, I would comment and he would acknowledge me.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
He did.
You were into Peter Hyatt before.
I was big time into Peter Hyatt. I was like, this guy's really good. Yeah. I think, and Seth was actually on his show at one point. He came on. He sure did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if Seth's still here, he can confirm it. He did.
Lucy's Vine is saying 500. Okay.
No, that's too low.
Yeah, we'll hit 500.
And Coco said,
I make it a challenge.
Okay, I have 5 memberships. I'm going to go ahead and give those real quick.
And who went to Goodwill? She said, plus with your child missing, why would you even think about going to Goodwill? Did somebody go to Goodwill?
Yeah, there's a story that I think it's that they took his clothes to Goodwill.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, it's a gift party.
Well, thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate you doing that.
I hadn't heard that.
If you received a free membership from Kelsey, please tell her thank you.
It's because we can't verify it.
Yeah,
I don't.
We can't verify it with. Yeah.
I don't like to do those kind.
We put that in the rumor pile.
Yeah, I can't. We just
I think everybody would appreciate it if we came back and did a red flags, or the rumor. What was that? What was that called?
Factor fiction.
Factor fiction.
Yeah, we did that.
We did a factor fiction.
Yeah, we could do red flag revisited.
Yeah, because there's new ones.
Yeah, oh, yeah. There's
There's
new
new
ones
ones.
since then, and
Well, I
they
thought
did
we
that
should
one
have
long
some
ago.
guests if we do that. I thought we should have some guests,
Oh, that's a good idea.
guests over to visit that could help us with those red flags, because I think it would be fun to have other people's opinions. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, we did a red flags episode a long time ago, but it was probably my favorite thing we've ever done. And then fact or fiction was good because we had the fact column, we had the fiction column, and then we had the we don't know.
Yeah, we were like, because we were trying to figure out when we're coming up with our theories and things, what do we actually know about the case? And then we started to realize that the number of facts, like the hardcore facts that we know, are very, very few. Because almost everything we think we know about the case came from like Chris and Katie.
Yes. And then when you start to realize that,
and
if some things are untrue, then all things may be untrue.
So then the maybe pile was gigantic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody likes that idea. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could invite some of our friends over
that's a
that
good
we've been
idea.
talking about.
Sure, that's a good idea. Yeah, we've been thinking about having some guests and doing things like that with specific themes and people that have particular knowledge in areas. So we're kind of working on some stuff like that.
Everybody's kind of agreeing. Let's do a tribute to Peter Hyatt episode, and we could even just cover his Sebastian stuff if we want.
Yeah, he had quite a bit of Sebastian stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of it would cross over. So we could, there's older stuff we could kind of search through and you know.
Sunset gazing, we were talking about this before we went live.
Yes.
Sunset gazing says, don't forget about the total lunar eclipse, aka blood moon, tonight. NASA says totality will begin around 2:26 a.m. Eastern time. This is when the moon will be a coppery red color. I
have to tell you though, that's not happening for him. At 1:30 our time, he's not going to be awake. And I won't be able to get him out of bed.
No, unless I'm going to the restroom. Unless it's by chance.
Yeah, if you go to the restroom around
Maybe
1:30, you make sure you go look.
I'll go look.
Oh, it's a criming shame. Thank you so much.
It's a criming shame, says that I enjoy great thoughts and you guys are a pleasure to listen to. Food for thoughts. Thank you. #Sebastian.
Thank you so much. That's very sweet. Hi, car guy.
By the way, did we put our email in the chat for
Bliss Blessings needs it also again.
I'll do it again.
I read her super chat, then I forgot to put the email in.
I'm doing it.
Okay. I just didn't know if we actually.
Yeah, and Bliss Blessings said she did find that she would send us.
I sent it again.
It's Mr. E True Crime at gmail.com. Mr. E True Crime at gmail.com.
And Kelsey's remembering when I went to the restroom a week or two ago.
It was reality.
Scream on Brit's channel, wake you up. I know.
That wasn't even that late, Kelsey. That's what's so funny is that it was probably around midnight.
Yeah, it was like 12:30 or something.
I have so you can set a timer now on YouTube and it'll turn off. So to keep my mind from wandering about medical situations with our son, I'll turn that on and go to sleep and just kind of drift off. And so he left it on, or I left it on, and I do a shorter time span now, so that doesn't happen. But I was doing like an hour and a half or whatever it was. And he was going to the bathroom and you can tell him what you heard.
It was, if you didn't hear the story, just as I was getting back in bed, I heard it was Reality Wins was shouting something like, "No, you leave Mr. E alone. Don't know. What do you do?" You know, something like that.
That's
I was like,
funny.
"Oh, that's so weird," you know, because it was out of nowhere. And then they quickly changed the subject. They only talked about it for like 5 or 10 seconds.
I didn't ask you this. Was it hard to go back to sleep
A
after
little,
hearing that?
Yeah, a little. And then
Mr. E, no.
and then I woke up a second time that night, and I was, you know, because I wake up 2 or 3 times a night at least, and I was like, "Did I dream that?"
You asked me the next morning.
Yeah.
And I said,
"Oh
no.
yeah." And even in the morning, I was kind of like, "I'm not sure that actually happened. I think I might have dreamt," because you know, if you're listening to a show, sometimes the show mixes in with your dream or whatever. And so I thought maybe I just made up the whole thing, but then we had to go back and listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that did happen.
Well, little Miss Sharon maybe thinks we should change it, you know, and do something a little bit, you know.
There is a true crime story.
We could
channel
turn on
just for
Crime
sleep on
Junkies.
YouTube.
We could turn on Crime Junkies because
Yeah.
that those voices are soothing.
Her voices
they
were
are.
very soothing. Yeah. Orange wedgie. Or
Wedge.
orange wedge. Not wedgie. Wedge.
Yes, orange wedge.
Thank you so
Says,
much.
Would,
We appreciate your super chat.
Yes, thank you so much, Orange Wedge. And they say would love to discuss the use of 3 in the narrative from CP and KP.
The use of 3.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, I know there's the 3 minutes searching when he was gone. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She says she looks for 3 minutes. There's probably others. If we went
There were
through it,
others.
Yeah.
Well, they were supposedly on the phone about 3 hours.
3 hours.
Oh, right. And it wasn't even close to 3 hours. It was
When they
closer-
actually did the
No.
times, it was about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But they said, I think they used the term about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, bed crime stories too. We could listen to bed crime stories. We're just nuts.
Good suggestions.
Hi, Smiley. Welcome in. We love when everybody visits.
Yes. Smiley's great. It was good to meet her. But appreciate you.
Lovely
dropping in.
person.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, so I do we have anything else we want to do on this? I think,
No, I
that
think we
we did
covered
everything.
it.
I was I'm going to close
Oh,
some of my
Becky,
tabs.
we see you. I'm sorry, sweetie. I meant to say something earlier. Thank you so much. I'm so happy you made a live. I'm so excited for you.
Okay, so I'm
And that's Becky Paraminter.
And Tybay Lux said she had to leave. She'd catch the rest later.
Oh,
thanks for
bye,
being with
Tybay.
us.
It was nice to see you.
And hi, Car Guy. I don't know if we said hi to you either.
Yeah, we neglected our likes or our likes, our hellos today.
And Tam here. Hello.
While he's transitioning, we can say hi to people.
Yeah, I'm going to share this one. Because we've kind of got a lot of places I want to go, but I want to make sure we get to these. So since we were talking about him, I'll go here next.
You see my crime dog over here sleeping? She's sleeping. Look.
Okay, so Bliss Blessing. Wait, I can't see her.
You can't see her. She's sleeping.
Cha.
She's laying up on her
Alright.
pillow, sleeping.
She's
Ooh,
gonna
this
come
may not
visit
be-
me soon.
She is. She's
That might be-
excited.
That might be too small for people to see, right?
Can you blow it up?
I got the stuff from Bliss if you want me to upload it.
What's that?
She sent the. But are we confirmed that is the real Terry Bauer socks?
It's Terry's son.
Right. I know it's Junior.
It's just a statement that he made.
This is from Bliss Blessings.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I remember this one.
I had heard it was out
I
there.
heard
I
it.
never saw it. I had heard about it.
I
being-
can pull it. I can download it real quick if you want to show it. Just take me a second.
Also, the font's way too small on that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Is there a way you can
No.
blow it up?
There is. I'll have to do it.
Probably.
I could do it if it were on my laptop and not his computer.
She said maybe review it before showing it, but it is his profile.
Oh, okay. I don't believe you would lead us astray.
I
But
don't want to play the sound. Is the sound playing?
Hi, Julie Skolnick. Thanks for joining us tonight, Julie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Julie, you want to talk about Julie while I'm trying to figure this out about her new thing she's doing?
Yeah. So we, if you haven't seen Julie's channel in the last day or two, she's doing
Which one is it, hun?
this one.
That one. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll work on it.
But I don't want to hit that sound.
That's fine. You don't have to hit
Okay.
that sound.
Understand that.
Okay, hold on.
But-
I want. Sorry. I think that's going to be bigger though. Is that what you wanted?
No, I want the up above it. The commentary,
Okay, hold on.
the post above it, I guess.
Well, that doesn't help me. Okay, you keep going.
Yeah.
Talk
the one
about
from
Julie.
Facebook. What I was wanting to do is just the conversation here, but it doesn't matter.
Let me see what I can do. If
I could just read it too.
I know, you go on and talk about Julie's thing. I'll see what I can figure out.
So Julie is doing a story up in because she's up in the New Jersey, New York area, and there is she's doing a series. There's a serial killer there, and his name's escaping me, but he was called like the torso killer or something like that. Some of you will probably know who I'm talking about. You might remember his name. He's a high profile serial killer, and he's been confessing to a variety of
I'm gonna pull this down while I'm working on it.
killings, and it looks like some of them were coerced by various psychologists and
His
people.
name is
talking to him.
Richard Cottingham, she said.
Yeah, and I don't want to do any spoilers on Julie, but she's doing some really good digging, debunking some of those. And Julie, did you get my text today? Because I had somebody comment.
I can't make it any bigger. I don't know how.
Check your text. I had someone comment about what you're working on, and they had someone that they advocate for that was also a false confession involving that killer that you might be interested in. So if you didn't check that, it might be good information for you.
How about that? Would that work?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. I got to share it back. Okay, go back to StreamYard and share it. And
Hi,
hit that.
Kathleen. Thanks for joining us.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay.
And will I be able to scroll down, or will I have to go to a new?
No,
after?
you'll have to go back to that screen and scroll up and down like that, like normal.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and actually, this is a great account. Also, Lauren from Facebook it's just Lauren86, and she sometimes does really good kind of short videos. It's a great follow. Some of you probably know who I'm talking about. But anyway, there was this conversation happening, and this has to do with the part I'm interested in is the part with Katie. But here it says, Chris doesn't recommend anyone find themselves in this situation. And then Katie says, wouldn't even wish this on Seth. And then Lauren continues, what an absolutely strange thing to say. Why would the idea of wishing this on your child's other parent even be a thought that crosses your mind? Does Katie normally wish a lot of terrible things on Seth? And then the conversation down here, and this is who we were talking about earlier with Firetown.
Julie didn't
Mike
get
Damon.
your text, by the way.
She did not get it.
Mm-mm. I'll send it after the show, Julie.
It's probably user error on my end.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Well, I meant to text you today. You didn't respond, so I figured I probably did. I probably
She did. She only saw the one from you guys yesterday.
Okay, then I probably texted the wrong number. Somebody else is probably like, why is this guy sending me this stuff?
I did that the other day, and somebody said, I'm not so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, sorry.
All right, well, this is interesting, but my name's not Julie. Anyway, so then Mike Damon says, I understand people trying to find an answer. He feels superior because he has the answer, except the answer is not the priority. Sebastian is. This is not a game show. So I think this part wouldn't even wish this on Seth. What I think is really interesting about that is she's saying, what's happening to this? I wouldn't wish this on Seth. Well, Seth is going through the exact same thing you are, right?
That's an interesting.
Seth's child is missing also.
Right.
Seth is also facing scrutiny. You're both being attacked in various ways. You're both considered suspect by various parts of the population. You're both heartbroken. What's different about your situation than Seth's?
That's a great point.
What's different is what we believe is different, I think. Our theory is
that's
that
very telling. Yeah.
he's,
It can be.
it is a different situation. It shouldn't be.
It should be a shared situation.
Yeah. It shouldn't be very different at all. If anybody can relate, it would be Seth. So anyway, I thought that was something that hadn't quite occurred to me before.
I agree.
But I will say, when something happens bad to you, sometimes you'll say, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. So she could be kind of projecting it in the same way. I wouldn't even wish this on Seth. I guess he is her worst enemy. You know what I'm saying? People say that all the time when something bad happens to them. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy.
I get what you're saying, but that's not the same thing at all.
No, it is slightly, if that's the way she looks at him.
Right, but it's a shared situation.
Right. But when something bad happens to you,
I think it's a slip up.
It could be, but I think you could look at it both ways. So I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate with that. I think sometimes when something bad happens to you and say you wreck your car and you say, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It happened to you and you wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy. So I think she's saying it happened to me and I wouldn't wish it on Seth. That you could look at it that way.
I think that's what she means. But what's happened to her, it's like she forgot what her cover story is.
Right. I see this. I see the error in the statement.
Yeah.
The slip up.
She forgot she's an innocent mom looking for her kid, just like Seth is an innocent dad looking for his kid.
Right.
She is in a different situation.
Oh, the
because she has
pearls are
guilty
coming
knowledge, I
in.
think.
Welcome, Pearls. Welcome. And Loretta H., thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you. And also, Ginger Bell gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so
Ginger Bell.
much.
That's very sweet of you. We do appreciate it.
And if you received a membership from Ginger Bell, please tell Ginger Bell thank you. That was so kind, guys. Thank you so much. And then I got all caught up arguing with my sister, and I missed It's a Criming Shame also sent us a super chat. Hold on.
I didn't see that.
I'm going to have to play a lot of songs. Thank you. It's a Criming Shame.
Thank you, Criming Shame, and welcome in Pearls also. Let me go back here to read. It's a Criming Shame says, check out Penny Boudreau's story here in Canada. It seems eerily similar. Claims her child's missing, but really it was because her man gave an ultimatum.
Ooh, we might have to check that out. I'm going to write that one down.
Please do.
Yes.
Penny
I'll forget
Boudreau.
after if we don't
And
write
that's
it
such an fancy name, Boudreau.
down.
Of course, it probably isn't in Canada. It's probably like Smith in Canada, right? I said it's a fancy name.
I don't know. Yes.
It's probably just like Smith in Canada.
Well, thank you so much, Criming Shame, and thanks for pointing that out, because it's always good to find these parallels, these similar kind of stories. That's something that this. And I got time today, member for 4 months. Thank you so much. He says, or she says, I'm so glad to be here, Sebastian's Army.
You got to stop gendering people when you don't know.
I know. I got time today.
Thank you so much. That's very nice of you. We appreciate your membership. We do. And welcome in, Pearls. And Brandy and Indy, member for 1 month. Thank you for your amazing. Thank you all. Your amazing content. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Brandy and Indy.
Thank you for all your amazing content. I can't speak. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being a member. Are you done on that section?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
Because I would like to do some songs.
Go ahead, because that way I can find the thing I want to pull up.
Awesome.
Because it scrolled on me.
So let's see. So this is for all of our super chat people. Thank you guys. We appreciate your super chats. And here's our little song to thank you guys for that.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you very much. And this is for all the people who gifted memberships. Thank you.
We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you, what a gift. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you. So generous. So kind. So wonderful. You make a heart shine. Thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We feel so blessed. Crime Dog memberships are the best.
And thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. Memberships are a great way to help all channels. So thank you so much.
And Julie just popped one up as well.
Oh, Julie, you go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Julie Skolnick says, thanks, EFAM, for mentioning my new series, The False Torso Killer Confessions, about serial killer Richard Cottingham. First episode was yesterday. God bless.
Oh, well, thank you.
Julie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't want to do any spoilers because I want people to watch it. But what you figured out down there by the river is pretty great. So good work by you there. And I think I do believe that you are onto something with what you're doing on that story, and it's interesting. It's yeah, and what's partly interesting is this idea that these false confessions, and coercing those out of people happens a lot, because these detectives want to close their cases, right? But we need to push back on those, because the families of these people that have the victims, they deserve the truth, even if it means they don't get answers, maybe ever. They don't need false narratives pushed on them just because somebody wants to push a documentary or sell a book or close their file or whatever reasons they've got. So that's a shame that even happens at all. Bliss.
Well, I was trying to get your attention because you cut me off before I finished doing my videos.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
I have sent another email as well.
I got it.
Okay, great.
And this is for all of our new members.
And thank you, Julie.
Welcome to the dog town. Dog run dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog town. Your grand dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo 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 doo.
Just love that.
Yeah, and just to finish up a little bit on the Julie part there, I just want to say, she's local there too, so she's got local insight, connections, and understanding of the region. So that's why she's interested in this, and has a better feel than people like us, several states away.
And then Becky had mentioned, did we hear about the bodies in Memphis? Yes, we have. We talked about it at the beginning.
Yeah, we did at the beginning, but there is one other body we still don't know anything about.
I forgot about that one. It still has not been. I mean, it's been a few weeks.
It's been like a few days.
Oh no, it's been
like a couple days.
Or which one are you talking about?
Well, it is Memphis.
There's two. Well, no. Yeah. I mean,
there was another one also that still hasn't, or that was kind of close to Memphis, but it was it Mississippi? But somewhere else.
That was a long time ago. The one in the pond.
There's one that they still have not named who it was. The one
they found in the pond, the skeletal remains. No, they still haven't named that person.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about.
And also I just wanted to say hello to Gypsy Nielsen. Welcome in.
The other body that was found just like 3 or 4 hours earlier, it's a long distance away, but off the same road. Like they're not close, but they're connected by the same highway. So I don't know if there's going to be any connection to these or not. And here's the other thing: the decapitation. That what is that about? Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I'm going to start looking into that story just on my own and see what I can find. Is that someone sending a message? Is that a psychotic issue
or a serial issue that they just haven't pieced together yet?
Are there other victims? Was one thing I was wondering, because if you're taking a life for the first time, decapitating doesn't seem like
it's
something you would do
too, right?
Yeah. I know of I don't want to talk about it, but I know of a story similar. And that was a mental health issue is what that one ended up being. But so I don't know. I just want to look into, that is so, for us to do that to a 17-year-old. And then what I did was I started looking up just doing searches for decapitated victims in Memphis. And there were several. Some of them have been solved, but some of them haven't. And so I don't know.
Yeah, another person said you can't use the dental records to identify when you don't have a
Right.
head. So that is another way, to make it difficult.
Yeah, and maybe it's a practical reason. I wondered if maybe it was like a gang thing, like send a message kind of deal,
Yeah,
where
somebody else that
something
just mentioned that.
symbolic. I don't know, but
Nick said gang related, possibly.
and Memphis, if you don't know Memphis, it's
Let
you
me
just
put
go
it
look
this
at
way:
their
if I want
news,
to go to
and it's
IKEA, I go to Atlanta, and Memphis is closer.
yeah.
I'll drive to the Atlanta IKEA before I'll go
gotta-
to Memphis.
It's actually a little better than it was a few years ago, but it's still pretty rough.
I just wanted to point out, Brandy and Indy said dog pound reminds me of Snoop Dogg back in the day. If I could figure out how to not get demonetized, I would have used the Snoop Dogg song.
Yeah.
That was my initial idea.
Yeah.
And I forgot, we really did not, after the storm kind of showed up, a member for 4 months. Usually catch you on replay, but love you all. I know you did it during the song, but we didn't get to say thank you
Right,
for 4
right.
months. We appreciate you.
Yeah, it popped
you.
up quick while the song was on, so I just zipped it up there real quick.
Well, thank you I'm glad you got to catch it live. I know we're kind of
Oh,
unpredictable
a
the way we
cult.
go.
D. Marie says maybe a cult. Yeah, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. I mean it's and one I found was there was one a year ago. There was a like a popular radio DJ there called something Rick. I can't think of his name, and his was in his home, and it was just like a year earlier, and his brother found him or whatever, and it's unsolved. And I don't know, is there a connection between that? Why do you do that to him? Unless
Right.
there's
And we had some more stuff
I don't
come
know.
in. Sharon Marlowe, thank you for your super chat.
Oh, thank you,
so much.
Sharon.
And then Gypsy, 10
Gypsy.
10 gifted memberships, and also Rubicon 7-month membership. So she has been there a while. So thank
you,
you.
Rubicon.
We don't know that Rubicon is a female. You need to say you don't know.
Her name's Ruby.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
I guess. I don't know.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, yeah.
It was Ruby, but okay.
Could it be Rubik?
Maybe.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Well, thank you so much, Gypsy, for your gift of memberships. That's awesome. If you received a gift of membership from Gypsy, please tell her thank you.
Oh, Gypsy did
That is so
Wow.
sweet.
That is so nice.
So
Gypsy.
sweet of you. We appreciate it. And Sharon, thank you so much. The truth is near. I agree. I think it is near. I really do.
But I don't know who was in that kid's life, if he was foster home or if he has parents that are involved. What a nightmare for that. If that ends up being that person looks like it is. I mean, it's a nightmare anyway, but
It is.
But to have that happen to your kid,
I would like to know why it wasn't more in the news or prevalent, that nobody really heard about it much.
I don't know, but I mean there wasn't much out there on him. So I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting theories. I'm not sure I can.
Yeah, I mean the thing.
All I think about is that if that is that 17-year-old child, that's just terrible. You know?
I mean, what could it? But I'm sure. I mean, FBI office is in Memphis. I'm sure that's disturbing enough to get them on that case, because that's more than just some fight or whatever, or some dispute. I'm deafening silence 2025. Mr. E, you're going to have to change your name to Holmes.
I don't know.
I don't. Maybe if I ever solve anything, yeah. We still don't know what's happened in this case. We've been covering for a year, at least not with any certainty.
And hi, I saw Rogue come in. Hi, Rogue. There's so many friends. I love it. I love when you guys are all here.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of folks that we don't usually catch
Summer's
in the live.
Army.
But Rogue, we've missed a little bit. Yeah.
Brandy,
Charlie
and Indy.
Batista.
Brandy in Indy. NHGG.
Yeah. Have you got your next segment up?
Yeah, it's up.
Do you need me to make it bigger, or are you good with the size?
Well, I'm really just plugging him. Can we put at Firetown in the chat, or his was it? I don't know what his YouTube channel is.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have.
He is.
He has a
his
YouTube channel, but I know him better from X. That's
Does
where I
he?
really see his stuff.
Let me see if I can find him. I believe we follow him on X, don't we?
Yeah, but I know him from X. I don't really know him from YouTube.
I'm gonna see if he's got the link. He has the link. That's
Yeah,
what
I'm
I
sure
was
he
looking
does.
for.
And we're at 633 people, and let's see what the likes are. We're 538 on likes.
And a lot of people sent Mike to us. They emailed and wanted us to check him out. And he's very interesting. So I would definitely check him out. And thank you guys for sending that to us, because we don't know. We don't get to be online all day, every day, to see things. So I want to make sure that's correct.
Well,
it is. Okay.
I'm sure what he puts on X is indicative of what he does on YouTube also. And
Right.
his stuff on X is he often has thoughts and observations that are, they're very interesting. So he keeps showing up in my feed because I read a lot of his stuff. So I just wanted to point him out. And this is just kind of an example of something I thought was really interesting. So he writes here, if someone offered $347,000 for the return of your child, why would you want to discredit that? So I think that's a good question to just kind of let lingering out there. Why would you discredit a $347,000 reward for your child? Why would anyone do that? What possible motivation do you have?
Thank you, Real Me Too. We appreciate and love you very much.
And Sharon,
Thank
prayers to you. I hope you get better. Sharon,
What?
in the hospital.
Oh, no. How you all use your phones is crazy watching.
I know.
It's hard. It is hard with YouTube to watch your phone.
And Sharon, we'll pray for you. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I hope it's nothing serious. Or hope you're healing.
And
quickly.
look, and being giving in the hospital and giving us a super chat. That's crazy.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
That's you don't have to do that, but thank you so much. That's very kind. I hope everything goes well, and we'll put you in our prayers.
Well, Mike continues here and he says, wouldn't you use that as an extra incentive instead? Right? Chris told us he can't go anywhere without being recognized and getting his picture taken. They want the case to go away. That's kind of his take.
Sharon says, all good, just test. Well, good. I'm glad.
Oh, good. Well,
good,
hopefully we'll have some nice, clear tests for you too.
Yes.
So anyway, this is just one of those channels. If you're on X, it's one that's worth following. And I think about this a lot because we keep getting this thing. There's this bit. Well, we had the councilman who got harassed by all these people telling him to take his flyer down that he put on Facebook about the $347,000 reward. Like a congressman in Sumner,
I know,
not congressman, a councilman in Sumner County that had put it up on his Facebook. The mob came after him about it and he took it down. What are you doing?
Why?
Whether you agree with the reward or not, a councilman's putting that out there for all his people to see.
Yeah.
And that means Sebastian's face is getting out there.
It didn't matter if it said $2. It really didn't matter.
Yeah. You're on the side of evil if you're doing that. Because you don't, I know what they say. What they say is, oh, well, it's a fake reward. They're never going to pay that out or whatever.
Who cares?
You don't have any idea if it's fake or not. You don't know. You have no evidence of this. You may suspect it. You may believe it would never be paid out, but you don't know that. It's not Minority Report where you can predict the future and predict future crimes, where you get the psychic sitting around and predicting what's going to happen. And you have no idea. Do you know for a fact that the $50,000 reward is going to be paid out by the FBI if there's a conviction? Well, I don't guess we know anything for certain. So to discredit that amount is such a disservice to Sebastian and his case. Anybody that took part in that is on the side of evil. You do not want the child found. You want him to be a cold case. You don't want justice for him and you don't want him home. Or you've been so brainwashed and manipulated that you can't even tell the difference between good and evil anymore. Because you have no idea if that reward's ever getting paid out or not. There's no way for you to know. It's disgusting.
It is.
It's disgusting. To contact the councilman about that. and that's going to get me to a different point that I want to get to here in a moment.
I wanted to thank Nina real quick. Nina gave us a super sticker. It's a smiley face with sunglasses. Thank you so much, Nina. That was very sweet of you.
That just got me fired up.
It is, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you agree with the reward or not. Sebastian's face and his details of him being missing is on the flyer. It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, the whole point of, we know the rewards don't usually do anything.
Right.
They're, people will have a tiny clue to something. They think they're worthy of the reward and they're not. And sometimes, whatever, or they don't actually lead to any leads, but it does get publicity. It does get, that's an eye-popping number.
This is a good point. And Gina H says, I don't think the reward was even brought up in Candy's interview. I don't think so either.
Not in the one by herself. Did they mention it though in the one with them together? I thought they mentioned the reward.
I don't know.
They mentioned it on the news segment.
Yeah.
Maybe it was on the segment before the interview.
Especially the first one that came out. Not the one with Holly Thompson, but the one that was more like a story where they kind of talked about everything. That has much less quotes from Katie. This is something I didn't know until after we did our last live, but apparently they had to approve all the questions for that interview with Holly Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that when we were kind of going back over it. Well, that's far worse. So they didn't allow any difficult questions to be asked at all. It was all softballs. And I thought that was just, her style and trying to keep it friendly. But they didn't allow.
They did mention just the 50, right? They didn't say anything about, the national, worldwide, internationally known bounty hunter looking for their child. They didn't mention that.
No. Right. Do we know anything about this? I'm not sure. Michelle says, "Hey, Crime Busters, do you have any opinion of the quick photo that says KPCP? Do you know what time it is? And about seeing his face again?" I think I asked you guys that today because I didn't know what it was related to.
I didn't understand what that meant.
That photo with the guy in the watch.
No, we know what it is. What we're saying is we don't know what the heck that's all about.
If that had any actual meaning or relevance, I have no idea.
And I don't know if you want to address the other thing that people are talking about. People are talking about the CP date thing. If you want to address that at all. We don't have enough information on that to know if it's true or not. So that's kind of like our thing is if we don't have enough information, we're not going to discuss it. Right. We're not going to speculate on that.
I'm hesitant on stories like that because there's hoaxers and there's people trying to put out misinformation, muddy the waters
until we get,
or maybe just wants attention or something. So I don't really want to factor that in.
We've heard about it, but we don't know.
We have heard about it, and we're not going to discredit any of the creators that have put it out there. We don't mean it like that. It's just that it's not something we can speak on because we haven't taken the time to really research it ourselves. That's kind of how that's how we handle everything.
Well, if we've almost had the mantra, if it's an anonymous source that we can't vet ourselves, then we just kind of try not to go with that as being a factor. And I think that's been a pretty safe way to go.
Well, go on with your.
If we talk to her and we could kind of get a feel, it might be different. But if we can't speak to them, Scratch and Sniff says, "I'm so thankful to find a channel that does not fight and fuss and cuss. That does not fight and fuss and cuss."
Oh, thank you.
Scratch and Sniff.
Thank you for that super chat. But Auntie and I can get pretty heated sometimes, especially if we're talking about 80s movies, and she's wrong.
So we don't cuss at each other, and we don't.
Oh no, we would never.
We don't do drama. We don't fight.
We did have drama waiting for her lunch once, but that was a big joke with our.
That was during the case
during the Megan Boswell trial,
and I had an issue with my son's cat.
Oh yeah,
that was dramatic.
And I just saw Detroit Rock City. Hi, Detroit Rock City, and Sammy G. A lot of people here. And thank you again for that super chat. We really appreciate it.
And here's another question from Deafening Silence. Says, and Mrs. E, also the church they were meant to be part of has hundreds of thousands of persons they can reach and nothing. What is that all about?
I don't know if I understand.
As far as maybe getting out the information, I don't know.
Oh, their congregation. Well, I will
where they
tell
go to
you.
church?
Well, I will tell you. We we put a sign out at their church. There wasn't one. We personally
I
did
think
it.
it's still there.
It's still there though.
It's been there since June or
Mhm.
May,
Yeah,
whenever it was.
June. It was June.
And that's pretty. It's pretty
Oh,
good.
it might have been May. You may be right. No, it was June.
It
It
was
was
June.
June.
And
It was
Belinda,
good.
yes, my food was good when I finally got it.
But that's pretty good bang for your buck to have a sign last for like 8 or 9 months.
Mhm.
Pretty good.
That is good.
But it's odd that there wasn't one there before then. I'm just saying.
Yes,
it is.
I think that's strange.
Mhm.
I would be
Especially
putting
if we were
signs
attending
everywhere.
that church during the summer.
You would think.
And actually, that picture came out before we put that sign up.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I think it's
And thank you, Shirley, for your membership.
Oh, thank you, Shirley Batista. We appreciate you.
thank you, Shirley.
I have to go start nighttime medicine
Okay.
and do doggy walking. So I'll be back.
Auntie, I'm gonna not be able to see the comments, the chat, because I'm gonna be reading from this for a little bit. So
Okay.
if there's anything important, will you kind of stop me and let me know?
Yeah, and I was going to read Rosebud's comment before you got started. She said,
Hi,
"Deafening."
Rosebud.
Yes, we hadn't seen you tonight. Deafening. I've been asking about why no accredited community person or advocate has backed them or boots on the ground. I think that what we were talking about the councilman, that put that up and then was attacked basically and had to take it down. So that's probably why.
Yeah. Well, I think what she's kind of getting at, right? There's not like a local group or advocate here that's
Right.
Let's help the Proudfoots.
Right.
Yeah. It was kind of like when we were talking about going to court all those times for the Bullhorn Betty stuff. The people that obviously both sides kind of had their social media influencers, on behind them, but their family's from here. They live in this county. They've moved around different towns in the county, but they're from here. They should have tons of support if people believe they're innocent. But everybody that's just kind of like a just supporting Sebastian, that's just wanting, to support him. They were not sitting with the Proudfoot family. Eyeball wise, it is, it's interesting because Seth isn't from here. He doesn't have community support. He doesn't have like these deep ties. He lives in Clarksville and not from Clarksville. He's just lived there for a short time, relatively. Yeah, they don't have local support. And like we've said before, here locally, when you talk to people here that know anything about the case, nobody,
right.
No, everybody is looking in the same place. There's questions about how, like we've said before, but people don't really have a lot of questions about who. It's just a matter of who did what and who knew what when, stuff like that. Those are the questions. Not everybody believes there's a problem inside that house, locally. At least anyway, everyone I've talked to.
Right. And Annette's joining us it's morning for her in Western Australia.
That was who? What
Annette.
name?
Sheehan. Yes, she's joining us this morning from Western Australia.
So we're getting a little later here in the U.S., but a little coffee and crime for Annette there. I wanted to read this a little bit, and this kind of relates to that whole thing I was talking about with the councilman. And it's something that I see all the time. People ask us about, or they get upset with us about. And we're not upset, but just kind of warn us about, or kind of like, you're covering this case. You're going to interfere with the investigation by doing this. We've heard this actually from the very beginning of us doing our YouTube channel. Occasionally people will say, well, you're going to interfere with the investigation by suggesting this or saying this or whatever. And so, obviously none of us want to be any kind of roadblock toward justice or finding Sebastian. That's the absolute last thing we would want to do. Our purpose here is the opposite, if anything. But it gets me to thinking, like, so what would interfering in an investigation actually look like? What would that be? And as far as the Tennessee codes go, I just went and looked them up myself, and I think it's just, some people might take this the wrong way. I genuinely do not want people to get into trouble. I want people to try to live their lives lawfully without finding themselves wrapped up and get caught up in a situation that they can't get out of. And with this case, I have seen people and go real life in ways that I think they forget that there are real consequences potentially by getting overly involved in this case and crossing certain lines. And I know something, this whole case, everyone's passionate about it. Everyone wants to help, but there are lines that we cannot cross to where it becomes a true criminal offense if you get involved. So this is Tennessee Code Title 39, Criminal Offenses 39-16-602. Section A is, it is an offense for a person to intentionally prevent or obstruct anyone known to the person to be a law enforcement officer or anyone acting in a law enforcement officer's presence and at the officer's direction from effecting a stop, frisk, halt, arrest, or search of any person, including the defendant, by using force against the law, officer, or another. Pretty straightforward. This really doesn't apply, I don't think, to any of this. So B, except as provided, it is no defense to prosecution under the section that the stop, frisk, halt, arrest, or search was unlawful. I might have gone to the wrong section here. I think this is not the one I was trying to do. Sorry, there were a few of these. I think I might have been. Yeah, this is not the one I meant to do. I apologize. Let me go back here.
That's all right. I'll say hi to some people. Hi, Brenda Calvert, Barbara Hare. Let's see. Sandra Halford, hello. I see you guys talking about dog breeds. I must have missed it. I see Minnie and Toy. So are you talking about poodles or what breed? And Bliss Blessings has given us a super chat. Amber Alert, landfill warrant, geofencing warrant, FBI reward, $50,000 equal criminal investigation. Praying for a breakthrough. No kidding, Bliss Blessings. So much has gone on and so little information from law enforcement as to where they are. And we just keep hoping that it is because they do have a case that they're building and it's all going to come out very soon. But, that's, we kind of felt like that about a week or two ago that it was going to happen. And so far, nothing's happened. Nina Drew, thank you so much for your super chat. She said, it's as if the person of interest are in plain sight and doing TV, in my opinion.
Okay, I think I've got it here now. I clicked on the wrong one. Are we good, Auntie, to go forward?
Yes.
What more do you want to read?
Yeah, I was just recognizing Nina's super chat as well. She said she thinks the persons of interest are in plain sight and doing TV, in my opinion, she said. Yep.
And thank you for that, Nina. I appreciate that. Yeah, I clicked on the wrong code. So this is Title 39 Criminal Offenses, 39-1-101 through 39-17-1812, and so on and so forth. You can see all that here. So this one, it is unlawful for any person knowing that an investigation or official proceeding is pending or in progress to. So I just want to stop with the A part. We know there's an investigation, right? It's been announced. Even if you want to disagree about the criminal part of it, it has been announced that this has been an investigation since March of 2024. Whether you think it's a criminal investigation, whatever, we say it's a criminal investigation. We have confident belief that is still the case. Either way, we know there's an investigation, right? So we have that knowledge. anyone that has the knowledge that there is an investigation happening, okay, is in this part A. 1, you cannot alter, destroy, or conceal any record, document, or thing with intent to impair its verity, legibility, or availability as evidence in the investigation or official proceeding. That's kind of obvious and should go without saying if you're destroying any potential evidence. But this one, 2, make, present, or use any record, document, or thing with knowledge of its falsity and with intent to affect the course or outcome of the investigation or an official proceeding. And this, you can make the argument, has happened a great deal.
Right. And Rosebud actually just kind of asked something. She said, so is giving out misinformation or false leads not fall under the category of obstruction?
I think it absolutely could.
Yes.
I mean, it's like everything else. You have to have a DA willing to prosecute it. But to me,
we've seen this a lot.
This is pretty clear. If you know that there is an investigation that is going, it is unlawful to, number 2, create. So like if you created fake pictures, fake emails, fake anything,
fake posts.
How about people that have called into true crime shows in the past, pretending to be witnesses,
calling in false leads to different investigators, and not necessarily the police, but just other investigative people in the case.
Altering Facebook posts, altering Twitter posts. These kinds of things have happened a lot to frame people or to make people look more innocent. That is interfering by Tennessee code. At least my layman's reading that could very well be a crime, because if with just the intent to affect the course or outcome of the investigation, if you're sending in fake tips to the TBI, you're committing a crime, or FBI or Sumner County, right? And I think and according to this section B, it's a violation of this section is a Class C felony. So, do with that as you wish, but that knowledge is kind of power there, right?
Right. And Zoots and Boots says semantically, it's an investigation from a teen runaway to abductor. A crime has occurred under Tennessee law. Criminality is subjective for now on paper, but in reality, deception is very clear.
Yeah. And so that was then you kind of get into these, and it's about making false government records. I don't think that really applies to this situation. But then there's this. I think this was the section.
I'm not really sure about this
That might not be right.
information.
No. I might have to go back. I'm going to go back to the AI here at the beginning, because some of this is this one here.
Go ahead and address that real quick.
Oh, I got to go back to GA64 says, well, I called Sumner County Sheriff's and there is no be on the lookout on Sebastian. There is an Amber Alert for Sebastian.
Well, at night.
What info?
They're talking about the at night bolo.
There's no bolo. Be on the lookout.
It
didn't go to the police departments. It went to
It went to border control.
Went
right?
to border control and those types of places. It didn't go to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, we're talking about the recent one from at night where they
the be on the lookout. Yeah,
'cause they're going with the theory and possibility that he's crossed the border out of the country or soon to be. I don't know. I mean, I just don't even know what to say to stuff like that. But yeah, so they if he's alive, that's been kind of one of my lead theories too. The reason I've thought if he is alive, I think it's likely he's either with a very close friend or he's out of the country. And the reason I would think he would be out of the country is because you could money. Because if the schools were too much money for them to put him up for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, they might have found a less expensive option out of the country. At a place that could keep him kind of off the record or harder to find and track.
Mm-hmm.
If their goal was to keep him alive until maybe he's 18 or something like that, when at least that was kind of my thinking too. And they have connections, that family does. I think they would be capable of getting someone out of the country undetected if they. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. And then there's also the potential of the trafficking issue.
Right.
I think that's a low possibility, but it's there. So I'm glad they are doing this, and doing that. If you didn't see it, at night put out that alert to all the in a variety of different languages, and we're sending that out to the different border patrols and things like that. So there's this part too that I wanted to get to, and I'm not sure it's in one of these codes, and I don't want to. I saw it earlier, and I thought it was all together, but it's not. But the point is still here on this kind of AI generated summary. We already talked about tampering with evidence, making false statements, or using false documents, coercing or persuading witnesses, intentionally coercing or persuading a witness to give false testimony or withhold evidence. And I've thought about this, that there's a number of people that if this ever goes to trial will be witnesses. And if Chris ever goes to trial, for example, I don't see any way that Bobby, the neighbor, is not a witness because of that interaction she had with him in the car with the girl in the back of that story. And him talking about his mom being a real estate agent and he better not mess with her, all that kind of stuff. She'll be testifying if he's ever charged with anything. Mm-hmm. And so all of these things that are going on against Bobby, if they're putting something together and we don't know what's happening. We don't know if there's a grand jury happening now, in the future, has already happened. For all we know, we don't know. Mm-hmm. I genuinely have no idea. But if it would not surprise me if Bobby's a witness. And if you're messing with Bobby and trying to falsely accuse her and intimidate her and target her children and threaten that you're monitoring her and surveilling her in an attempt to make her be quiet, that seems like you're interfering with an investigation there. Then there's obstructing justice, and that would just be intentionally preventing or obstructing a law enforcement officer of civil process server from performing their duties. That'd be the kind of thing where, they have a search warrant, you don't let them in, stuff like that. And then it actually says flat out here, false reports, intentionally initiating or circulating a report of a past, present, or impending emergency, knowing that the report is false or baseless. That probably doesn't really apply to these situations here, unless you're doing a false report of like a Sebastian sighting, and that's false. So anyway, if you found yourself on the wrong end of these, the penalties could be 3 to 5 years, and it's a Class C felony. But anyway, people say this all the time, interfering with an investigation, just by talking about it. Well, that's talking about the case and having an opinion on the case. That's our First Amendment right. We all have a right to have an opinion about what we think happened. We're not interfering with an investigation by discussing it, as long as we are not deliberately, trying to intimidate witnesses.
Yeah. Well, recently there was some misinformation or misinterpreted information put out about us, where people were saying that we had talked to that we were talking to law enforcement and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah,
and that it's absolutely not true. That's not what was said at all.
But they don't care. Even when that particular one, I actually said, show me the timestamp where I said I was talking to this Clarksville police officer that lives in their neighborhood, and then they couldn't. They just gave a link to the video again. And I was like, what? And then I just blocked them.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for trolls. or actually not even trolls, people that are intellectually dishonest.
Right.
If you just got an agenda and you don't care about the truth, I have no use for you. Or
Right.
I have no patience for you. Just block those people. But anyway, so when people talk about interfering with an investigation, this is criminally interfering with an investigation. Not having an opinion, not
right.
wondering what happened, not talking out theories. It would be truly interfering. And then, of course, the police have to care enough to actually arrest these people when they do these things, because they could, and they largely have chosen not to. But that doesn't mean they won't at some point. They might want to make an example of somebody at some point for doing this stuff. Do you have any thoughts on that? That Auntie? That's just something it's just one of those topics that comes up all the time, and I just wanted to kind of show what the reality of it is. It's like when people say, you're innocent until proven guilty. You can't talk about any of this. Well,
Yes,
we're
you
not
can.
we're not talking about throwing people into jail without a trial. We're allowed to have opinions.
Mhm.
We're not the government. The government, in the eyes of the law and the government, yes, of course you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we are not allowed to have opinions and wonder what happened. And we can question whether or not an investigation's happening properly, if there's corruption, if these people are safe to be around us. A lot of these folks that are investigating the crime are elected officials, and we have a right to wonder and pressure them to make sure they're keeping our community safe. Because as of right now, I live in a county where an autistic child disappeared, and they don't know what happened, and nobody's been brought to justice. I have a right to be concerned about that.
Absolutely.
That there's no point of First Amendment if we don't have the right to discuss concerns of this nature. Anyway, people just don't know people just kind of say things, and they don't really know. They don't even understand the words they're using a lot of times. But anyway, that's all I've got on that. Unless you have anything to add.
Mm-mm.
So, like I said, we're kind of doing a little bit of hodgepodge kind of stuff.
That's
tonight.
okay.
Do you have anything you want to do before I jump into the next topic?
No.
I think we hit everything that we've gotten so far. Jaybird said, I assume slashing people's tires who are searching could be interference, right? I always told people who would search to set up game cams to watch their cars while they're out searching. Yeah, and that's a really great suggestion. But yeah, I would call that interference.
That's funny.
Sure.
And welcome in, Josh, Mr. The Lab.
Most people.
That's a great comment.
Yeah, it's none of us, just most. So I saw this too. So this is another great account. I've been on X more lately than normal. So I just kind of if you're looking for other people to follow that are covering this case that are doing great, this is another one. At graceful_Grace.
You still have the old one up. You have to share that tab instead.
Yeah, sorry.
He's learning, guys.
Getting there. And this was her original thoughts. And anyway, her question was reasons why a mother of a missing child might keep the latest photos private while releasing any older photos. So if you're not aware, over the last week or so, Chris has been filtering out various photos and videos and Katie have been filtering out these various photos and videos of Sebastian from happier times, basically. And there's a video of Sebastian, learning how to use a crane, and Chris is patiently teaching him, and him riding a bike. I think we talked about that last time.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, pictures of him in costumes and whatever. And he's been filtering those through various social media people. So
real quick. Hello, Bullhorn Betty. Welcome in. She's excited to catch our live.
Yeah, well, we talked about you earlier. All good.
All good.
We were talking about your live you did today, and we're kind of referencing that. So we were telling people to check that one out, about the lady that went missing in Orlando. And then, of course, your theory on who that young man might have been out in Memphis. We talked about that a bit at the
she
beginning.
Said, sure. I promise it's all good.
So I just thought this was an interesting little bit of writing here. So a reason a mother might do that is concealing evidence or involvement. Reason: if the mother is involved in the child's disappearance, for example, a parental abduction or related act, she might withhold the latest photos to avoid providing evidence that could incriminate her or reveal inconsistencies in her story. Recent photos could show the child's appearance, location, or condition at the time of the disappearance, which might contradict her public narrative or expose her actions. So I know that this is something that comes up a lot. People keep asking, why aren't we getting more recent photos? It could be, I mean, this is all obviously all just speculation. It could be that there could be something that was going on physically in the home that they don't want people to see. It might be they were distancing themselves from Sebastian emotionally, somewhat. They seemed, and just didn't take pictures of him very often.
I mean, she obviously had pictures from the night he went missing on her phone. Why would those pictures not be utilized? That was the most recent picture of him.
I know. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Context: with 90% of Tennessee abductions being parental, this could be a strategic move to maintain control over the narrative. For instance, she might fear that recent photos could be used by law enforcement, the other parent, or the public to identify discrepancies, clothing, location, or signs of distress that suggest she played a role in the child's disappearance, such as hiding them or moving them out of state, common in parental abductions.
Yeah. Mohawk Mom's got a good point. Why not just use the most recent school photo?
Yeah. I mean, that would be the easiest. Very clear, well lit, straight on shot. And then the second point that Grace made here was managing public perception and deflecting suspicion. Reason: by releasing only older, less incriminating photos, the mother could be attempting to shape public sympathy or deflect suspicion. Recent photos might reveal details like injuries, new clothing, or unfamiliar backgrounds that raise questions about her involvement or the child's condition. So she sticks to nostalgic, less revealing images to maintain a facade of cooperation or innocence. Context: in parental abduction cases, public perception can be critical. Families often face intense scrutiny. If the mother is the abductor, older photos might evoke sympathy, happy times before the disappearance, while avoiding scrutiny of her recent actions, aligning with the statistic that most Tennessee abductions involve parents. So I thought that was all kind of interesting thoughts there. And another thing about these pictures coming out, and I can't think of who pointed this out. It was someone did a montage, and forgive me for whoever the creator was that did it, because I just can't remember. But they had pointed out that Julie Skolnick, who was, I don't know if she's still around now or not, but she was here earlier. On her channel, she had been talking about. She had made the comment, "Why don't we ever see pictures of Chris Proudfoot and Sebastian together?" She was just saying, we don't really see any of those. There aren't many at all that have been out in the public. I can only think of one. Is there more than one prior to this influx?
I feel like I saw one a long time ago, and I think it was on Fox and Friends. Yeah, I think it was on the Fox and Friends interview.
So why, she was just making that comment. Well, it was 2 days later that the bicycle video came out. And I think we all have felt for a while, all of us they're covering the case, we have all felt that they are monitoring and listening to us, and sometimes taking advice. I know we felt like that 2 or 3 times, where it has felt like they have reacted to things we've said. Maybe it's just coincidence. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting that it was 2 days after Julie made that comment that's when the bike comes out.
Hi, Karen. Welcome in. Karen says, I think some of the picture thing is attention seeking, or maybe even a competitive thing. A lot of new pictures at the vigil, then poof, a new pic and video. You're right.
Yeah.
And, at the vigil, this has been discussed, but for those of us who were there, Seth included pictures of Katie as well with Sebastian. It wasn't just Seth and Sebastian, or Sebastian alone.
He did. I'm not sure how much did they show the pictures on the stream?
I don't know.
But if you didn't know, they did show a lot of pictures of Katie, which I thought was nice. It was good. That's what should have happened, I thought.
Alicia had a good question. She said, "Why didn't police put the footage from Texas Road out right away so that you could see what he looked like and what he had on that evening?" And
That's a great question.
yeah, it's a good question.
I don't know. You know, I know what is it she said her I don't even know who put the claim out. Was it Chris or I guess it had
I
to be
don't know.
Chris. But somebody made the claim that the reason the pictures were being taken was he had dressing on his salad.
And he didn't normally eat dressing on his salad.
As a mom of someone with autism, though, if that happened, I would probably take a picture of that myself and send it.
I could see us doing that
Yes.
too. Hey, look, he put mustard on something or whatever.
Right. Ate a condiment at all.
Yeah, he used the condiment.
Like when he had the calamari.
Yeah.
Oh my
That was a big
gosh.
deal.
And then the
And
next
liked
year and liked it, but then the next year we went to the same place and ordered the same calamari. He wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
I mean, and he devoured it.
And calamari is kind of like a dividing line for a lot of people where they won't go calamari, you know.
He gobbled it. He loved it.
He loved it, but then
Yeah.
the next year we did it and
He
even
goes-
sat at the same table. We did
I know.
everything the same.
And he said, "No thanks."
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember exactly when we asked him 2 or 3 times. No thanks.
You know, I don't think we've ever talked about that picture thing on this show, but I've never heard anyone say this opinion. I'll just tell you what I thought when I saw it. When I saw it, what it made me think was because I agree with Peter Hyatt that I think food was a major issue in the house and a form of control. They talk about food to such a degree, and he was slight. I think I said a few weeks ago he was 130 pounds, but I guess that was wrong. He's actually usually listed around 113 or 120, which is pretty small for 5'5" for a male at 15 years old. You know, they just the whole snack thing, the rumor about the camera being inside, watching the fridge, all that stuff. In their phrasing, their concern about food. What it made me feel like was that it was almost that it was such a control issue that she had to take pictures of him finishing his food, what he ate, and to send it off to Chris because it was all because of it was such a controlling atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it made me think when I
like
saw it.
It was he didn't even like the fact she was taking the picture. I thought I could sense that in the exchange, and so she was trying to do it kind of covertly because it seemed to irritate him.
Yeah, and maybe it was what she said. It very well could have been.
It could have been. It could have been that.
I'm just telling that was my instinct when I saw that happen. I thought, wow, how controlling is Chris that when they're out to eat, he's got to know what they're eating and she's got to send off a picture. That's what it made me think, is that it was a power thing.
I think I went a little bit more innocent than that, but I tend to go with the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know if that's right. I'm just telling you, that's just the first thing that popped in my head when I saw it.
Did you see Brandy's question for you?
Let's see. Brandy and Andy says, Mrs. E, as a mother, what is your theory about Sebastian's behaviors at the Texas Roadhouse? I thought he acted like an angel.
He seemed hungry.
He did. I
think that's typical for a teen.
Well, yes. I think he seemed as far as behavior, I would have been pleased if I were his mother with his behavior at the Texas Roadhouse. He seemed, he seemed fine. I mean, under the table, you see his feet. He seems very tense because his feet are all kind of, if you watch the video, are kind of all on top of each other and kind of like, I don't know, he just seemed tense.
He had an overly stimulating day.
Right.
He did a lot of things in that day, and it was culminating with eating at his favorite restaurant. And I think he was probably a little keyed up.
Right.
And that's where that tension
and
was.
He seemed tired too, I think. He did seem a little fidgety, but I don't have a baseline for him.
Yeah.
To know if that's just typical, if he's just a nervous person.
Seth said that he was eating, that the way he was eating.
I was going to say that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we asked Seth about it. And he told us that basically the way he was eating was normal. Right?
No, he said that was nervous.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you're misremembering.
Okay.
One of you is.
Yeah, one of us. I thought that was it. He said that he looked nervous. That's how he acts when he's nervous.
He did say that. But I asked about that was different than the way he was eating.
I thought he seemed a little agitated at the table, just a little. I don't want to say just.
Well, you know what, guys? Let's put a pin in that, and we'll ask him again, and we'll try to remember this time.
We might be thinking of something.
He said his behavior seemed nervous, but he said that I thought he said that the eating was like that.
The way he ate was normal.
You might be right.
That was the quickness of it.
You might be right. So. Yeah, you might be right. I think he actually talked about it in one of his lives too, though. Like we could go back and look at that.
You know, I didn't watch his last live. I still haven't. I haven't been able to do it yet. And did you want to read that, Auntie?
Yes. Widow Bailey gave us a $5 super chat and said, I think the a PF interview was a performance more for the upcoming custody battle with Nina, plus establishing an alibi.
Thank you so much for that super chat.
I'm taking it in.
Sorry, I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I absolutely think that
it was a performance.
Yeah, I almost forgot to get into this. This was kind of the main thing I wanted to do today.
Well, and we were going to talk about
and we've only been live for like 2.5 hours, and you're finally getting.
We just had kind of
had so many little pieces.
Yeah, this is one of those nights where it was more like we just had 5 and 10 minute stuff I wanted to do, and it kind of didn't all go together exactly. But this was the main one I wanted to get into because Mike Damon, it seems his chief theory. So we laid out our theory, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I remember. This is how this all started. Yeah.
What?
When we were talking about the show, this is how this all started.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It started with Mike Damon because he gave his theory, and well, anyway, we laid out ours that it's a premeditated event, whether he's alive or not, we don't know, but that we think our best guess is that he was either drugged to a point to be carryable, if that's a word, or he's transportable, or he's no longer with us. Either way, flashlights out to the car. Rest is history, right?
I just want to say thank you to Crime Cafe. That's very sweet.
That's essentially what we did in that episode, kind of laying that all out. And well, Mike Damon, his theory, his belief is that it is not premeditated, and he lays out a very reasonable argument, especially through the statement analysis and all of that. And I'd have to say, if I had a secondary theory, it's probably that it would be an unplanned unaliving type of event. So I just want to kind of lay out the theory, and then we'll discuss.
I was going to say at what point.
Yeah, why it's not our lead theory, I guess.
Because we went through it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of talk it for. I'm just going to lay out the theory first, then we'll kind of. I know you guys will be chomping at the bit to blow holes in this.
I already started.
I stopped myself. Let's say, for example, and this is I think essentially what Damon is getting at, and I'm probably mispronouncing his name, so I apologize if I am. But what he's getting at is that it's more of a neglect issue. That what could have been going on was that Sebastian, we know, had trouble sleeping. Every parent has talked about that at times, that he often would get up in the middle of the night or whatever. That's common with autism. So maybe she was overdoing it with sleeping pills, something like that. Frustrated, gave him too many, or finally that over the dosage, he collapses. That's the thud. He passes away. She calls Chris in a panic. Oh my God, I gave him, however many sleeping pills. I just needed a night's sleep, whatever. He was wild today, whatever it was. What do we do? And then that conversation from 9:45 to 11:30, and I'm just laying out the theory here, is them discussing what we're going to do. Relax, calm down. We'll do this. I'll call so and so. We'll get them to the house. We'll cover them in the blanket. Somebody gets there, whether it's Chris, a family member, whatnot. They do a cleanup. They either are transporting him to the car and then taking him wherever, or as someone had said earlier, maybe that 3 a.m. flashlight thing is the cleanup from whatever possible evidence there might have been in an accident. And then 6 a.m. when she leaves, he's in the trunk, and that's how they get him out of the house. So something like that is kind of in the belief of what Damon thinks has happened, is that it was not premeditated in that sense. Okay, so who wants to poke holes in that first?
If you accidentally, just being a typical person, if you accidentally did something, even an overdose like that, you would call 911. You wouldn't cover it up. That's my
And
human nature.
if you didn't want to claim to be the reason that it happened, that you gave him too much, you could say, I think he took too much, he collapsed, I
Right.
need help. You might not blame it on yourself,
Right.
but you would say, well, he's 15, he might have taken too many. The bottle was laying out, and then I heard this thud and he's passed out, and I don't know, he's unconscious. You would immediately call 911.
Right.
So
that's what you would do. That's why if for no other reason, we could go through all the other reasons why it was premeditated if you want, or why we think, in our opinion, it was premeditated.
No, I think, I mean, we've discussed a variety of different theories. We've never really done this one. I early on, I thought that this was the most likely scenario.
No.
And then as things played out, I've changed my mind on that.
We changed that when we were on vacation last year, though. We talked through that, and then we completely went back to and punched holes in it, and went right back to what we still believe is what happened.
Yeah.
I think that we were, as far as, how many hours did we do that? We stood outside and talked for probably 3 hours, 4 hours, working through everything and punching holes in each other's theories until we came up with one we all kind of agreed on.
And right, if he passed because of an overdose, you call 911, like you're saying. You're giving him CPR. You're trying to pump his stomach, all that kind of stuff. She's
trying to save your child.
She's military trained. I'm sure she had some knowledge of what to do in certain scenarios. So that part of it doesn't fit as a unplanned neglect issue.
Brandy made a good point. She said, when the Proudfoots and Sebastian were wearing all black, and when KP left the house, I knew it was premeditated, in my opinion, and the shoes as well.
It always comes back to the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes is a big one.
Oh.
And thank you, girl mom. We appreciate that so much. My theory is that KP called one of CP's family members first and said it was an accident, and that she didn't want to ruin their chance of getting Faith. I always wonder why CP stayed, but he would to protect family. Let me think about that a second.
I don't think.
Are you? Oh, sorry, go, Annie.
I don't think she would have called them first, because they were already on the phone, supposedly.
KP called one of CP's family members first and said it was an accident,
and that she didn't want to ruin the chances of getting.
So premeditated by Katie, and then manipulating the family.
I've gone through that theory myself.
I mean, that's plausible.
But what I come back to with that is that I feel that, in my opinion, that CP would have to be involved, because he seems like the type of person, when things get tough, he leaves. So why would he stick around with the possibility of being pinned with something?
Right. And that's what I go back to too. He has a pattern of leaving. He has a pattern of bailing in, obviously that many relationships. There's a commitment issue, and it would be easier had it just been her to say, "Hey, I'm out of here. I don't want any part of this. I'm calling the police."
Right. That's what
You
I'm
know,
saying.
he's a self-preservationist. He would have
Yes.
saved himself.
So in my opinion, I would think he would have to be involved big time, or he would have already left. They would already be separated, and that's just my opinion.
Girl
I
mom,
think they have to stay together because that they only have each other at this point.
girl mom, in your theory, is Chris also being manipulated by Katie, where she's the only one that knows it's premeditated? Just curious what you thought. Because I've wondered about if Chris could have been played to a point. I think he would figure it out at this point, but I think early, is that possible? I don't know.
Again, that goes back to the self-preservation. If he figured out he had been played, he would
He'd bail.
protect himself and his family.
Yeah, I
He'd
tend to
bail.
think not. I think he's in. Widow Bailey says Sebastian had bruises on his neck at TRH.
Oh, this is Widow Bailey's
Katie sent-
opinion. Okay.
Yeah, Katie sent pics to Chris saying, "Look what you did. He can't go to school tomorrow. That would be another CPS case, which could be the last straw." That's interesting.
And we know, you could see the thumbprint. I think
Yeah.
it was the picture was it at Costco? It was the picture where he's like sitting on a bench or like one of those seats, and you could see that thumb, like this part of the thumb, lightly imprint on his neck.
Yes. And Rogue, I agree with you. Rogue says, with him and his family, in my opinion, they would throw Katie under the bus real quick. She's living in a house under his mother's name, and it seems when the chips are down, mom saves him.
No question.
Absolutely.
Mom's going to save Chris if she can.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's no question about that if it came to that.
And Suits and Boots, she says that I'm not towards over medication as my major suspicion. I think that has been a free pass option floating. I'm still towards unexpected altercation. Causative risk factors seem strong. So, yeah, I mean, there were obviously factors in the home that could have caused an altercation, could have precipitated, and it not be medication, but some kind of altercation where he was hurt.
A shove and somebody falls, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a thud.
And you think, yeah, but okay.
That's another good one. Would you call 911 or would you call dispatch? Good question.
I mean, I don't know what you want to do with that.
And in Detroit Rock City, yes, there were, we did see in those first interviews the marks on his arm, and that really was never asked or addressed much. I mean, we knew they were there. People have pointed it out.
Everett Skunk says, no, they don't only have each other. They have a whole community supporting them and the Bauer Sox. They are all very good people. They are in a horrible situation, and the outsiders aren't helping. I just haven't seen any evidence of that. I mean, I don't know where they are. What I'm saying is when it was court and anyone in the public could have shown up for court, they sat on Seth's side, and Seth's not even from.
You mean the
County.
Community?
I mean the community.
Yeah.
They sat on Seth's side in their green shirts.
We're all on Seth's side.
All on Seth's side.
Of the courtroom.
We were at every hearing. The only people that ever sat with that family were either social media influencers, or there was this one lady that was there once, but I don't know who she was. She was a friend of Kathy's, it looked like. That's the only that's the only support that I've seen them physically have. I mean, I've seen Seth with vigils with hundreds of people.
I was going to say, I haven't seen Katie or Chris's vigils.
I haven't seen any, but of course they'd have to hold a vigil or do anything publicly to see if they get any support.
And I don't know if you read just the general comments underneath the news stories and stuff that are people that are not YouTube, but I don't believe they have the community support.
Like I say, we live in the community, and I have yet to have met a single person that knows about this case that does not suspect one or both the Proudfoots. Not one single person that has defended thinking they're innocent. Not one. Over a year of talking to people about this. Okay. Hey, you're entitled to that
You're
opinion.
entitled to your opinion.
I'm just telling you, I haven't seen any evidence of it. Show me any evidence that that's the case. I haven't seen it. I mean, I'm sure they've got some friends. I don't doubt that they have some friends. I'm really kind of talking more about the community. Not just YouTubers and TikTokers.
Right. Outside of this little bubble.
But now, and one of the reasons I have not said that in the past, like I said, I think they monitor us. It would not shock me if next time they're in court, which I don't know if they'll be there I think Bullhorn Betty might have a hearing next week.
No, I don't know what's going. There's 2 different dates. I'm not sure which one's accurate.
Yeah. So whenever the next one comes up, if they have to, I don't know if they have to be in court or not or whatever, but watch, they'll have like 10 people in green shirts.
Yeah, absolutely, Everett. We will agree to disagree. That's fine. And that's, as long as you're respectful, you are welcome here.
Yeah. I'm just saying that it's not something I can verify or not, because I
haven't seen it.
They don't hold events. They don't do any awareness stuff for Sebastian. So there would be no way to know if they've got support from our perspective other than just living in the county and talking to people.
Oh, that's a good point, Holly.
They won't wear green. Yeah, probably not. What would they do? I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me if next time that they're in public with something like that, if they don't have talk some friends into showing up and wearing pictures with Sebastian's face on it, maybe, or something, because I do think they monitor and wonder what they can do to improve their image. That's what we were getting at with this. Who was I reading? Grace, right? Yeah. Grace was talking about the pictures and all of that.
Right.
That's what all of these, this is what I believe all these videos are about. After a year later, showing Chris, doing nice stuff with Sebastian, obviously. That's great. But it's kind of transparent,
mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really, in reality, these videos and pictures don't mean that times were always wonderful, because any abusive person will turn it on and off, because you can't just be abusive 100% of the time to anyone. They're always hot and cold people. They because what they do is they keep you on an emotional roller coaster. So you never know if you're in good grade. You live in fear. You never know if you're coming home to the happy guy that's going to teach you to ride a bike, or the guy that's going to be whipping you with his belt. You never know. They keep you off balance. That's part of the mind game. Poppy Love says there's a lot of local people. I keep seeing them say they never heard of CB or any of the family. I don't know why or how they became thought of as so popular and affluent. Any locals here? No.
It's funny you say that, Poppy. That's one of the reasons we started our YouTube channel, is
Mhm.
because of all the misconceptions, and that was one we felt was a
was
misconception. Yeah.
We often heard people saying before we did this that the Bower Sox, they run Sumner County.
But we were like, we'd never,
what?
we'd never heard that name before.
They may have money. But there's a lot of money and a lot of old generational money here. A lot of country stars, a lot of Titans, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's
so
not
the
unusual.
idea,
Yeah.
What it was like, the picture that was being painted back then was like, it was like Boss Hogg running Hazard County
Or Dallas.
Dallas, one of those situations. It's just not like that. There's too many very wealthy people living in the county for any one family to have that kind of influence.
Right.
Is the reality. And so that was one thing we always, and I'd never even heard of them. And we know lots of real estate agents, and we see all the signs and the companies. And
Well, and if
I've
you
never
had
seen her name before.
if you had a grandson that was missing and you were a realtor, wouldn't you take that opportunity to, on your ads and things, post something about him being missing as part of your advertisements? Because those are going to go out to the public and be seen. And
Here's what's
That's a great
interesting
idea,
too.
actually. That is a great idea.
But that's a great idea. But here's what's interesting too is we get see every realtor under the sun, and we'd never seen her before, ever. We get the flyers, we get everything, and we've never seen her.
Yeah,
So-
and I think part of the thing, right, is she sells homes for
we don't know that for sure.
right. So she may not be like She might just sell new. She may not need her name
New
out there.
builds or
If
something.
she's selling new builds, you don't exactly need your name out there like real estate agents that are,
Yeah, but usually you have some kind of advertising and things like that.
you would think.
Well, yeah. But what's more important? Thank you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you. Oh, so back to the theory part too, of why the accident, the neglect, whatever, that part of it, to me does not work. Or there's two other things. One is the special, or the what do we call it? The big day, the special day, on Sunday, where the spaghetti pancakes, the trip to Costco, the trip to BJ's, the colossal popcorn, steak dinner at Texas Roadhouse,
Bowling,
strike and spare, all that stuff. That's a lot for any teenager just on a Sunday afternoon, basically, and seeing family in between all that. That's a really big day. Felt like what has happened in some cases in the past, like a final day. Let's give him one last good day. That's what it seems like from the outside, right? Maybe it's not. The other is you also have to believe in a lot of coincidence. You have to believe that the coincidence of just 3 months earlier, that Seth, Chris, and Katie were trying to figure out a way to get Sebastian out of the house by sending him to either out of state or to a behavioral kind of, I don't know what you call them. What are the schools called that they were looking at?
It's kind of like a
for
thing.
Behavioral.
But
It's
these
like
are really harsh.
intervention camps.
Yeah, but they're really harsh. They're really, really strict. They're not a vacation at all.
Well, they're meant for
really, really troubled kids, right?
Yes.
And
so they're not meant for autism.
Yeah, you're putting them in a potentially dangerous and certainly unhappy situation. So just a few months prior, they're doing that. Then you have to believe that the CPS report in January, and then he just happens to disappear when Chris allegedly, according to rumor, and because of Chris's own unwillingness to address it, actually, seems like he either was not allowed in his home or allowed to be around Sebastian. Something along those lines may have been going on, or maybe even some charges were coming involving that CPS report. Something like that was happening, right? He hadn't been home since early February. Their marriage is on the rocks by all accounts. And before Sebastian goes missing, a week after, there was supposed to be the hearing for custody with Faith, which is obviously super important to Kathy and Chris. So you have to believe that that's just a coincidence that he just happened to, during that period, have too many sleeping pills.
Also, I just want to say hi to Busby.
Hi, Busby. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And Crime Cafe has been making some good points too. Sorry, I'm reading chat.
Yeah, I was getting so many good comments, but
it's a lot of thought-provoking things.
Okay, yeah, highlight them if missed anything.
I'm sorry. I'm just getting, I'm getting texts and all the things. I get a little distracted when we're up here.
So am I missing anything else that as far as poking a big hole into it? One is you'd call 911. The other is the big day, the big Sunday, which feels like a send off, actually, almost like when you're on death row and you get the steak dinner or whatever. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, when you have to put your dog down.
Yeah, and you
make a big day and you take them their favorite places into the park and feed them a cheeseburger that they don't normally get, things like that. It's very suspicious.
It's terrible. And then just the circumstances around everything before, the timing of when it happens. So maybe we're leaving one out. But to me, those are the three that seem like, somebody said the Last Supper. It's so awful to think about.
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I held on to the accidental death early on.
That was Nicey Marie. Hi, Nicey Marie.
Yeah. I forgot about this one. S Butterfly Kisses says anniversary date of the divorce.
Yeah.
Yep. I forgot about that one. That's
and Lolly's here too. We are so blessed tonight. Hi, Lolly. Welcome in.
Yeah. A couple of people caught up on it. Hi, Lolly. Beautifully Broken says, this is so deep. It is mind boggling to us all because we don't think the way they may have.
Right.
Well, that's what I was about to say, actually, was that's why I held on to the accidental death thing for so long. Because in my mind, I can kind of understand.
Oh,
you have a moment of anger. someone, let's say a moment of anger happens. You give Sebastian a push and he's gone, right? If you can put yourselves in her shoe, anyone's shoes, actually, anyone in that shoe, if you can put yourselves in those shoes, you go, I've got two choices here.
Mm-hmm.
I either beg for mercy for the court and the police and try to just take my punishment, take my manslaughter charge, whatever, or I cover it up. I can at least, it doesn't mean it wouldn't mean that you don't love your child. It wouldn't mean that you're a horrible person. It would mean you had a terrible moment and maybe you made the choice to cover up a crime. I can understand that more than a premeditated, your 15-year-old because it's inconvenient for your life. That's harder for me to
wrap your head around.
I can't go there. Like there's no world I do that. But there are people that make those choices. And there may have even been other factors we're unaware of for that matter.
Busby, that's kind of an interesting
Busby
point.
says, Mr. E, I believe that was a day to show people they cared and it was planned for that. So that's interesting.
That's interesting.
An optics day.
And then
that's interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way. This the breaks. Remember Lori Vallow, how her kids were treated to a wonderful day. Then boom, they're gone. Same with KP and many other mothers. Yeah.
I haven't watched any of that stuff yet. I'm just dipping my toe into that one.
Yeah. And
I actually know quite a bit about that case.
And Seth was getting him in May.
Yeah.
So that's why I always think that last CPS report, I think if we could ever,
that was the clincher.
If we could ever see what actually is in that, I think we have a very good idea of why things happen the way they did. We just don't know. We just don't know.
Zoots has such a lovely way of speaking.
Yeah, I know. Zoots and Boots says, I'm okay at resting near terrible accident because an admission of responsibility is more possible. Absolve options. Yeah. Everett Sunk says, it's just how could they have covered it so well with such little time? Like no cameras picking them up, no evidence, just everything that it would have took to leave no clues.
I think clues were left. I think the flashlight. I think that the flashlight video is valid.
Yeah,
I think the car lights on the street, valid clues.
And if you believe Bobby, I mean, it's unfortunate someone secretly recorded her, but she claims there's another video that catches people from a different house doing the same thing.
And that Ellie does
like they're
have
carrying
that.
an object, like a human-sized covered object, right? You know, if they don't know where the body is, if he's not alive, like we said before,
We don't know.
Parallel investigations.
Right.
He's either alive, that's a different investigation, or he's not. If their theory is he's not, then it's just a much more difficult case to bring. You're going to have to rely on, cameras. You're going to have to rely on geofencing kind of stuff and apps. We saw in Texas Roadhouse, she was wearing that Apple Watch. Don't know if she was wearing it that night or if she took it off, but that there would be, and it takes a long time to get that data returned. There's no, the DA can take his sweet time and they can wait years until they think they've got it perfect.
Say that thing that Chris McDonough, was it Chris McDonough that said about the criminals? It's everybody's first time kind of.
Oh yeah. I mean,
whatever, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, he was just basically making the point that these are not career criminals. So the chances that they would not have left any evidence would be very, very slim. I mean, it's a crane operator, and Katie's, I mean, they both have military training, so that would be at their advantage. And she worked in security, and that certainly would be in her advantage. But they haven't really led this life of crime that we know of, at least. I mean, nothing they have been got caught up in.
Right.
I mean, there's been obviously some There's definitely been some problems in the home because there's been 5 CPS reports in Tennessee and 2 in New Mexico, and Chris was ordered to take those classes. So Chris clearly has some kind of problem, or Chris or Katie. Some combination of Proudfoots have a problem in that home. You don't have 7 CPS reports in 2 states if you don't. Marlena says their story has definitely adapted to public perception.
Exactly. And then this is interesting.
Deafening Silence 2025 says, I have been supporting Seth on my channel, putting out videos of missing children turning up alive after 73, 40, 50 years. One girl was living 2 miles away for 45 years.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of these lately, actually. And I don't rule that out. I've gone back and forth on which one I think is more likely. But
High opinionated. Sorry.
I think it is certainly possible. I think it's possible that even if they viewed Sebastian as a problem being in the home, that Katie could have made the calculation, look, this is my son. I'll get him out. We'll get him out of the country.
Anything.
We've got so-and-so connection to this place where he can be happy, whatever. I'll do this. And he'll have to be unconscious. He won't go willingly. We get him in a car, we get him out, something along. I can't rule out something like that. So I don't know that he's alive or not. I really don't. Some days I feel differently.
Certainly hope so.
I hope so. So you can't give up hope on that. It really would come down to to the people that did it. But regardless, if he's alive, every day he's out there, he's in danger. So there should be a sense of urgency.
And Widow Bailey says Michael Vaughn case has been waiting on the DA for 4 years now. Exactly. We were talking about this with the Dylan. Why is it escaping me?
Oh, red wine.
Red wine.
And the Megan Boswell case took 5 years.
Well, she was in jail that whole time, though.
Yes,
that's different.
Yes, that is true.
With Dylan Redwine, his father was not. His father was on Dr. Phil. He was all over the place. So, and then it was 5 years, I believe. Maybe was it longer? It might have been. I think it was 5 years.
No one. Everett sunk. Do you know anyone that's ever had 7 CPS reports in your life?
No one has seen the. Well, Seth has.
Seth has seen them.
Seth has.
He got an attorney to get those from CPS, and he has those in his possession. And I'm sure Ellie has those as well.
I mean, you want to. I understand being fair to them, but you can't overlook. Even if they have nothing to do with Sebastian's disappearance, 5 CPS reports in a year and a half. If that doesn't give you a red flag about what kind of people you're dealing with, it's huge. It's huge even if Sebastian didn't disappear. If I knew anyone that had 5 CPS reports in a year and a half in their home, there's no question there's a big problem going on there. It's outrageous. Even if Sebastian were here today, it would be outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more outrageous that Seth was not alerted about it and told about it. He had no idea.
Right.
I think, everyone wants to see what's in those reports. I think that eventually we will all see what's in those reports. And I think that Ellie has more than we realize. That's what I think.
I don't know if you're usually around here, Everett, or not, but I don't recognize your name. One of the things that here's something I was thinking about the other day.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
One of the things we've been challenged on a great deal is whether or not this is a criminal investigation. And even though there's like emails from Sumner County saying it's a criminal investigation, even if you try to FOIA body cam footage, they send you back telling it's a criminal investigation. Landfill searches, they told reporters in March it was a criminal investigation, and the reporters repeated it. They came out
9 years for Mark Redwine.
They came out to the protesters not protesters, I guess, but the gathering of voices. The reporter came out across the street from the police station and said, It is now officially a criminal investigation. We've even though all this has happened, there's still people saying it's not a criminal investigation. Here's another one I was thinking about just the other day. I don't know if Smiley's still here or not, but Smiley Stories, she was contacted by police to preserve and give them certain clips from her interview with Chris Proudfoot. Ask yourself, why would they do that?
What kind of non-criminal investigation would ask for that? What bearing would that have on a non-criminal investigation?
Just clear your mind and ask yourself that question. Why did the police go to Smiley Stories and rumor, although I can't confirm anybody else, others, but at least Smiley Stories, and ask her to give them certain videos, clips of things that Sebastian said on her
Not
channel,
Sebastian,
or
Chris.
Chris said on the channel? What reason would there be? It can't be because they think he's a runaway. They're not doing a runaway investigation, right? Because what good would any of that do you?
Mm-hmm.
They're not doing it because they think it's stranger danger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they gathering that evidence? What are they investigating? It's a criminal investigation. And it's clear who they're investigating. If you just,
Well, we have 875 people.
Wow.
We are very lucky.
We've been,
we are.
We have. Thank you so much for
joining us.
everybody being in here. I haven't been looking up at the number, but
I hadn't either. I was
a ton of
listening.
folks jumped in. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. Susie B, and this is a fair question. So what the heck did Nick Barris come out and say it was not? What's in it for him?
Great question.
I don't know. And the thing is Nick Barris in March said it was of 2024.
We've all seen that clip.
And Nick Barris in February said he was told it's not.
And it
is possible. It is possible that someone told him February it is not a criminal investigation.
It's possible that they asked him not to say that it was a criminal investigation.
Or to backtrack it.
Or to backtrack it because they don't want that information out.
There's no way for me to know.
Yeah.
All we can say is we've seen multiple pieces of evidence saying it is.
Yeah.
So
there's no question. There's no question from us about it at all. There's no question at all.
Busby has a good point. You have to read between the lines on this one. Ellie will withhold information and also lie in order to keep the integrity of the investigation. And they will.
Sure. They lie all the time, and it's
Mohawk
okay.
Mom's always good with the dates.
Yes, March 4th. He said it was a criminal investigation. It wasn't like he just threw it out there like he said it. He said he was told. Like he very clearly had been told that, or unless that was the claim. I don't know why he changed. He could really answer that question.
And we don't know, and maybe it'll come out someday.
I just know what we know, and even if I just took the one thing and said, why did the detectives go to Smiley's story and ask her to preserve clips and give them over of Chris in the interview? Well, that tells you everything you need to know. Actually, you don't even need to know anything else. You know what they're doing if you're intellectually honest. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, at this point, with the bit of info we have, I think we're all just trying to figure out what theory is correct when Ellie does make an arrest, because Ellie is quiet, but they are building a case, most definitely.
And look who's here. We've been watching your shows lately, Sweetie Pilo.
Yeah, so Sweetie Pilo, I just watched yours on the two twins, or not twins, but the two kids real close in age, Oren and Orson, or I can't remember. They have similar names. So if you don't know Sweetie Pilo, she's got a great channel, of course. And the latest, she did a very nice compare, like the statements that those parents were giving, and how that applies to the Sebastian situation. And there's some, unfortunately, there's a lot of similarities. Yeah. So that's definitely worth a watch. And she's great. So she does a very good channel there. So it's nice to see you.
Do you want to read what she said?
Oh, sure. instead of just rambling. Sweetie Pilo
It's
says,
getting late.
I know, you can tell. Right?
Yeah.
I've hit the 10 o'clock mark, right?
Yes, it's 10 o'clock and he's
Yeah.
usually asleep by now.
Yeah. Oh, right. So Sweetie Pilo says, I think they specially paved out the path to get him that night and thought they had avoided all cameras. What a shocker when Nick Barris came out with that footage. LOL, great discussion.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they...
I think they have him over a barrel for life for that one.
Sweetie Pilo, I'm going to give you my total theory. I cannot prove this is how it happened. Just as completely my imagination. I think whenever they presented this footage to the Proudfoots, it went something like this. I think they came to them and they had their little iPad or whatever, their screen, brought them in the whatever, had the monitor up. And they said something like, hey, I just want to show you something we saw here. And they hit play and the lights go across or whatever. And what do you think that is? What do you think that we're trying to figure out what this is? Yeah. I think, that might just be a trash truck.
Yeah, that's it. Our trash comes early.
Yeah,
early.
And the detectives
3 o'clock's usually the trash time.
And they go, what? That might be right. I think that might be a trash truck, because we were thinking at first it might be, maybe some flashlights in the backyard or something, but
no,
trash truck does make some sense.
Yeah,
But just in
how you
case it
see
is
how
a
it's
flash-
weaving in between the trees there? Yeah.
It might be a reflection. You're right. We'll do some analysis on it, and we'll and then I think they did something like that to see what kind of reaction they would get. But at that time, early on in the investigation, they were still the LE was still trying to be on Team Proudfoot, or at least make them think they were.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think something like that happened. Girl Mom 2, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, they can't say to the public it's criminal if there is a sealed indictment.
Very good. Very. That's a very interesting thought.
That's a good point.
And also, the lab thinks that you need to focus.
I do. I need to focus. You're right. I'm just all in. This has not been the live stream of focus tonight.
Well, this is just,
had
like
10
a potpourri tonight.
It was. That's what we should have called the potpourri.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Web of Lies or potpourri. Which one are you going to watch?
I mean, but yeah, you're right.
Web of Lies is much more enticing.
Yeah. And
potpourri sounds like we're playing Jeopardy.
It does. I think that we need to thank these wonderful people
Yes.
and wrap it up, because I'm starting to get tired, and I know you're getting tired. I can tell.
And I'm an hour ahead of you guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
3
And
hours.
I got to go
is
check
about
out the
right.
moon.
Well, you've got a few hours for the moon,
So
Maybe it's starting.
and I'm hoping.
I was so sad about the shuttle launch last night. I didn't get to watch it because it got delayed because they were supposed to be sending up the astronauts to get the other astronauts that are in the space station.
You've got to go over there, where I was telling you to go.
Yes.
To the beach and watch it. It's amazing.
I'm sure it is, but when I can go outside and
Rogue
look at
says
it,
web of potpourri.
web of potpourri.
I just wanted Shannon. Yeah, I'm sad to say, but Peter Hyde passed away. We think March 5th. Yeah. There had been a report earlier, and then that was not accurate, but March 5th, and that's now confirmed. So.
Yeah. And
Thank you, Jacqueline.
That's a good point. Trash trucks are lit up like 18-wheelers, but theirs are flashing. Yeah.
Exactly.
I might be wrong about that. That's just my speculation of how that went, because I think they were still keeping the Proudfoots close at that point. I love being challenged on things, as long as it's respectful. So if you ever have a different opinion, then I'm one of those people. I think that you don't really believe something unless you can defend it. So if you get challenged and
right,
you can't defend the position, then you don't really have conviction in what you're saying anyway. So as long as it's respectful, I'm always up for it. And so I appreciate the back and forth too.
Well, I have a gift for everybody because we did reach 700 likes.
Oh yeah, good. And that seems so unobtainable 2 hours ago, didn't it?
It did.
Everybody was like, no, we can't hit 700.
Somebody said about the lunar eclipse, it is actually tonight and tomorrow night. Okay, I don't know why.
I will not make you guys sit through the super chat song, the Welcome to the Crime Dog song again. But thank you to our super chats and our gifted memberships and to our super stickers. Oh, we didn't have I did get a super sticker.
We'll do the super sticker, then do the machete, and then we'll close it out.
Thank you for your super sticker. 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 Thank you for your super sticker.
And actually, I downloaded something new for Mr. E tonight, and it's not long, so I'm going to play it. This is going to be something he's going to want to use quite frequently.
I don't believe you.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I want to use that when we're breaking down an interview. That's what I want to do. Anytime they lie, I want to have Judge Judy pop up with the "I don't believe you." That's what I want to use that for.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Because
I'm getting coughing.
I think of Judge Judy all the time when people lie. Because
I'm
sometimes
sorry, you all. I'm getting over a cold.
I was looking for a specific one. Sometimes she does this. I love Judge Judy. We used to watch it all the time, but she kind of does this thing. Where I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And she'd get like all hopping in her seat or whatever. And I think of that all the time when people lie. So that's why I was looking for that clip. But so we got to do the machete party, and then we'll go.
All I need is Jesus, coffee, and true crime. Says I got excited when I thought it was the super chat song.
We'll play the super chat song. Oh, you did super sticker.
I did super sticker. Oh, we did have a lot of super chats. And E, will you highlight those while we're playing the song?
Everybody was super
Yeah, a
supportive.
ton of
Yes,
them.
thank you guys so
I'll
much.
start at the bottom because those were the ones we didn't get to.
Thank you for the super chat. 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 Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, I think we got them
you
all.
guys were awesome.
I think I got all the ones.
Throw that.
I was repeating.
We appreciate your support of our show. And guys, I'm going to play it 3 times in a row because 3 is the magic number, right?
It's a comedy rule of 3.
Yes.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Whoops.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
I'm going to do it again.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
And one more.
She also said she was going to bring a machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
Machete.
Karate.
That's a great that it never gets old.
I have Seth's look like separate too, in case we ever want it.
Oh man, it won't ever get old. I don't think that'll ever get old.
I made a different one, but it's much less nice. So he told me I couldn't play it.
Yeah, I don't even remember it. I don't remember.
It's so funny with having the Ross video. I mean, it just goes perfectly with it.
It does because it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the
like
same
the
intensity.
Yeah, it's the same.
Well, let's just tell everybody thank you and let's wrap it up for the
Yes.
night because I'm getting really
I
tired.
know, and then you guys probably are too. But thank you for hanging with us. You were all we had 800 some odd at one point. So thank you for that. We're very blessed to have such great support and such a good community here. If you're catching us on the replay, leave us comments. I always like to read through those too from everyone that couldn't join us live. And I don't know when maybe we'll do the members thing next time.
I think we should do a members dog pound, and then that gives me more time to work on the trivia.
Yeah, we'll just do like a little
Members
hour or something
only.
and kind of talk things through and hear from you guys.
Did you hear me?
And if you have questions or just want to tell us about something in the crime world.
You're sleepy too. She's sleepy too.
She's sleepier than us.
I'm not sleepy at all, actually.
You're cracking me up.
I'm just getting tired.
Did mom make it, or is she already asleep?
Oh, she probably already went to sleep. I didn't hear her come in. Usually she'll come in and wave that she's going to bed, but I haven't seen her. But sometimes she just goes to sleep.
If she's still awake, tell her I said goodnight.
I will do that.
Okay. And thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. This was so much fun. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you joining us in chat, all of our watchers, subscribers, members, our moderators for helping us out. Thank you. They're working hard for you. We appreciate it. And we hope you guys and all the creators that wonderful creators that came out to visit. We appreciate you. It's like coming over to our house, and we appreciate it.
I don't think we put Sweetie Pilo's in chat, but we'll do that next time at least. Or do you want to do?
I can do it real quick.
Yeah. So the thing is, we just keep wanting to highlight all these great creators that are out there covering this case.
We didn't do Josh either.
No, we didn't do Josh, did we? So yeah, we could do Lab too.
I will, to calm down.
Or I say we.
It's me.
I say we when I really mean you.
Teresa said, great job. No back and forth nastiness. Makes you all the best of the best to watch. Much love and many prayers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. Time does fly. Somebody said time flies with the ease. It does go by fast.
Like I always think I couldn't even get to everything I wanted to do. I'll have to save some of it for next time.
And we always think it's going to be over with in like an hour, and we're not going to have content. And we have such great contributors, and so many of our watchers will have such great thought-provoking content that it just keeps us going.
Well, that's why I was thinking the dog pound would be kind of fun, because we could do it where they could do a link and come up, and we can just keep it private. And that way, no one has to be embarrassed or anything, because they don't have to be on the screen.
It'll just have the voice. And
just have the voice. Exactly. And I'm also gonna throw Lolly out there. Oh, Sue became a member.
Like there's people that have ideas all the time of stuff we've just never even considered. It happened several times tonight.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of really good ideas, especially the cases to cover.
And so if we kind of do like these members things and kind of have a little more open back and forth talk about stuff. There's like was it Busby that was saying earlier that it might have been all for optics, the big day of fun, to show how
Busby's got a channel too.
I mean, that could have been motivation on that. I think that's a fair possibility.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
And did you guys welcome Sue to the dog pound? She's a crime dog now.
Hi, Sue. Thank you for joining us.
Members only.
I always think of membersonly.com.
I think she wants the song before. Sorry. I think she does. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We really do appreciate it. It's great.
Real Me Too's back.
I mean, really,
hi.
There really are a lot of people covering this that are doing a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
When you really start thinking about how many there are, just the people that hopped in here tonight, there's a ton.
Well, and you think about that compared to this.
I put Betty's in,
this missing boy in Memphis that got no coverage. And then you've got so many people really investigating this case and taking it very deep and trying to do, just like Mob Crew and the videos and, just really giving it a lot of work and effort to find Sebastian.
That's right. Well, I want to thank Sue for her membership, and then we are playing our outro. We're done. I mean it. You too.
Okay, I'm done.
Good night, everybody.
Hold on. Well, no, I'm doing the membership video first. Calm down.
All right.
Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog pound. Members only. Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog now, members only. Welcome to the pound, members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo 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 doo.
All right. We are going to wrap it up with that. Would you guys say your goodbyes?
Good
Goodbye,
night, everybody.
We
Thank you so much
appreciate
for
it.
being here. Very much appreciated.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you.